What's good, everyone? What's good, everyone? Um, Want to welcome everyone to the Barbershop Talk for Jealousy Part 7, A Purpose Fulfilled. I'll be waiting on Lawrence here for a minute. Yeah, but I want to go ahead and say peace to everybody. Peace, grande. I like them peas. Oh man. Again, peace to Lawrence, Shing Shang, Sir Abadayu and Nimblemint. Yes, peace to you all. Yeah, we back in her. We back in her. So oh man. Um, like I said earlier, this is a story that I just enjoy because it's got so many good things to take from it. Um, so much good. Youngster. Peace and bleach power to you guys. It's all right. Yeah, peace to you too, youngster. Thanks. But it's got so many good gems in here that you can that we all can take and use and apply to our everyday lives to make better decisions and to keep us focused on the things that we should be focused on. Um, I like that one, youngster. That's funny right there. Enter everybody. Stream won't fully start unless there's 20 cash outs. Oh, that's funny, man. No, I ain't gonna go TD Jakes. I ain't gonna go them prosperity pictures on you. I ain't no Joel Osteen. The show gonna go on. One monkey don't stop no show, as one of my guys like to say. But now, it's got this story has so many good gems in there that we can take and apply to our lives to make better decisions and to make them better overall, and how we approach difficulties that come up in our lives. By not focusing on them and focusing on what we can do and focus on the good things that what we're good at and that we can use to make our lives better and that we can use to to keep well, not only just make our lives better but to make the decisions and who we choose to be around us to make our lives better as well, and that we can kind of benefit off each other. um the thing is, like I like to say, hey, if you're not a thief, you shouldn't be hanging around with thieves. So there's I mean, like people, birds of a feather flock together, as they say. Uh, Lawrence, welcome back, welcome back.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. You sounded wonderful, sounding
Uh,
good and clear.
Excellent, excellent. Um, well, shalom to you, shalom to everybody in the chat. And my apologies for coming in late,
Oh, it's all right.
both here and the other one. So sorry about that.
It's all right.
Got my times off. So where would you like to start?
Oh man. Well, I guess we can start with where you heard what you heard. Anyways, I guess we can start from that.
I came in. I came in literally right as you were telling the story of them finding out it was the brothers found out it was him when he told them who he was.
Right. Peace, new peace. Um, well, heck. Let's see here.
Which I must confess, for anybody who's in the vengeance, that's a great moment. that was a great moment.
And the thing was, he really, I think he did kind of do it a little bit just to pull the chain, but also too, I think like I tried to point out earlier before you got in, is that it's very interesting that none of them questioned the fact that he had all of the stewards prepared for Hebrew customs.
Mm-hmm.
As far as seating placements when they ate, this is this goes back to jealousy part 6. He had them prepared for how they arranged when seating, how they did all of this, all of their customs and codes. He had them prepared, and nobody questioned, like, how do y'all know uh, Hebrew customs. How do y'all know it this well to this extent? And so I found to me also I kind of sensed that maybe he was also kind of pulling to see if any of them would ever question it, to figure out maybe he ain't alive, maybe he ain't dead. What's good, Agon? What's good, man? I emailed you the link. You need me to do it again, but I think that was one of the most interesting things as well. But yes, the whole thing about him finally, um, revealing to them that he's Joseph, their brother that they thought that they had sold into slavery and they thought was dead. And I think the whole part about him letting them know that he bore no ill will towards them too was very important as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of power to have to forgive somebody, especially after all that.
And I think the other thing is too, like he says, like when he told them that that he was sent ahead of them to prepare for what was coming.
Right, right. Well,
So
like you said, he understood his purpose.
right, he
Um,
understood it.
yeah, that those things had to happen to be able to get where
Right,
where they are now. So,
and
which
I was gonna say, the thing that interests me, when you think back about it, um, when he first gives them his divination, talking about 7 sheets a week bowing to his, um,
mhm.
and it was interesting how that also played a part in the dream that Pharaoh had as well.
That's true.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is very true.
symbolizing the famine as well as the worth of the wheat for grain that would be needed for food as well, in
Yeah.
the oncoming famine and what they would need. So I think the symbolism in that was very telling as well as how it linked up together with both of them, with Pharaoh's story and his own personal story and dream. Um,
Well, it's interesting you say that because I can see the parallels between the Pharaoh and Nebuchadnezzar.
mm,
You know what I mean? Where he had him out in the desert for what was that Nebuchadnezzar? I might have the wrong one.
I can't, man. Don't let me lie. I can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah. I
offhand.
know. I know. Sometimes those names just get me all muddled
And,
up.
and then sometimes,
But there was one he had. The Most High had in delirium. A Persian one,
mm,
wandering through out in the woods in the desert and whatever. He lost his mind.
right?
It got. But yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was a side note. I'm sorry. I
Yeah, that's
detracted.
cool.
My apologies.
But yeah, I think it was pretty interesting how all that come together, and of course he was too young then to understand the totality of his dream. But I think going through what he went through, it kind of for lack of a better term to think of, all the pieces to the puzzle were being put together as each trial and each hardship that he went through after being sold into slavery was setting it up towards the simple fact so he could pretty much manage the storehouses and the food and grain and everything that needed to be managed for them to survive these 7 years of famine. Um, and him understanding that and accepting once he got to that point, understanding that this was the only way. I mean, there was no other option for him to get to his purpose was he had to go through this to gain that type of understanding and knowledge, um, of getting through this difficult times to know that he's been through every other difficult time that he could get through this as well. It was it's a pretty good story to see that, um, him throughout all these hardships and through everything that's been thrown at him, he stayed focused on his purpose during that time, and he never faltered from that.
No, no, no. He didn't. I wonder sometimes. Besides just the besides just the work of the Most High, if he continued moving forward, Not just for the work, not just for the work and purpose he was given, but I wonder if it was also for the sake of his father.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because even with the brothers showing up unexpectedly, from his point of view, and even after he puts them through everything just to mess with him, which I enjoyed immensely. Um, but but when it was all said and done, his first thought wasn't about taking them out or anything like that. His
Mhm.
first thought was tricking them into finding a way to bring his father to him, to let his father know
Right.
that he was still alive by
Right.
by taking the other brother. Um, so that was interesting. I mean, it's nothing major, but that was an interesting little tidbit for me about the strength of the relationship between him and the father, and the
Yeah.
love and the love that they had. Because like I said, under normal circumstances, anybody would have just it's me, grab him, you know what I'm saying, throw him in prison, they call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
You're right. Most individuals they go full on revenge.
yeah.
But man,
But by the
that's a
time, but
good
by the
thought.
but by the time he got done with them, he really didn't have everything he did was a setup for them to force them to bring his father to
Benjamin.
him.
Well,
Yeah.
first Benjamin.
Well, yeah, Benjamin too. But yeah, but between the baby brother and the father, that's all he cared about. The rest of them he really didn't care about.
Well, I
As,
can't say that
how
because
so?
because when he tells them, hold on, when he tells them, he said, let me go here. It's in chapter 25. He says, verse 4, he says, part is verse 4. I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold in Egypt. Now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me ahead of you to save life and preserve our family. So to me, right there, that statement says to me that he didn't bear any ill will towards them because what he went through, he had to go through to preserve the family in the long run. That's how he viewed it.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. But I think still I don't know. Let me see if I can get my words right. I get what you're saying. I mean, I'm not going to argue what's written
Mm-hmm.
in black and white. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it could have just as easily went, you know what, I forgive you, and that's all fine and dandy, but I don't want you here, man. Get out of my space. It could have
Right,
been that.
right, but he didn't do that.
But instead, he decided to take the youngest brother, who had nothing to do with anything, and let them think he's holding them in prison, even though he's okay. but but
Right.
but bring your father to me. I'm not saying the first part wasn't important, but I just thought it was interesting,
I think
that it was important for him to see his father and to bring his father some peace.
now I think the other thing too is I think the other thing was him and pulling these strings like this. He also wanted to see if they had changed, maybe if they had any guilt about what they had done, um, as far as to him, and then also too at the same time, as far as potentially setting their younger brother Benjamin up for death, possibly
Here's the funny thing about that. I, I,
after what
I
they had done to him.
yeah. And here's the funny part about that. I could see him wanting to test that theory, but as we learned later on, they hadn't changed. Didn't one son offer his own son up? And
I think only that was the. I think Judah was the only one that said me. Well, the others didn't say anything. I don't think
Mhm.
the other one did offer up his own children. I think Judah was the only one that said, "If I don't bring Benjamin back, you can have my life."
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
why
yeah.
he was the one to say, "Hey, look, let him go to daddy, and I will stay in his place because
Yeah.
I don't want to see what's going to happen to my father if we can't bring him back."
Right. And wasn't he the one in the very beginning as well, when they talked about laying hands on him and doing that?
I
He
can't
was the
remember if
one
it
that
was
sent it.
him or if it was another one that wanted to put him in something just to save him and come back and get him. I can't remember. I have to look
Yeah.
back again.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't remember if
yeah.
it was him or the other another one.
Yeah.
wanted to do something else.
But
Don't quote me on it. I have to look back again.
No, that's fair enough. I would as well. That's why I asked, because I didn't remember.
Yeah.
But but like I said, that was interesting because, like I said, at least where the one is concerned, we know for a fact he hadn't changed at all. Just the fact that he's offering yet
and
somebody else.
If he had, it wasn't much. I'll put it that way.
That wasn't at all to me. I mean, instead of accepting responsibility, he threw his son under the bus. I mean,
I agree. He did offer him up for a sacrifice. Here's the thing, though. I do think maybe where he had maybe changed a little bit. I think maybe, which we don't get to see it in the text, is with each time that it gets set up, with these grain sacks, man, you can tell the distress in their voice and their money is getting when the money come back, when they see that their money is still in the mouth of these grain sacks.
Oh yeah, they are.
So I think so. You don't get to see it in the text, so maybe he sees something then.
Yeah,
or his steward sees something that says, "Hey, man, they scared shitless."
They pissed themselves. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure they pissed themselves. Yeah. I would have. I'm not even gonna lie about that.
So this happening multiple times, and I think probably the fear is real.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So, but it's kind of hard to really judge all that because of the simple fact, man, Israel fucked up.
Yeah,
the people as a whole, they were fucked up.
I can't deny that, man.
So,
I can't deny that.
I mean, as a whole, they were pretty much like that, brother.
Yeah,
they were, so it's hard to really tell. But I think that he saw enough of distress in them to where, and everything, and understanding and hold on to his purpose, it helped him to not hold on to any hate.
Well, that kind of goes back to what we all got taught, or at least heard in our lifetimes, where the sweetest revenge is success. So
yeah.
I mean, it ain't gonna get much higher than being one step away from Pharaoh. So.
But I think also too, I don't think that what am I saying? That it was all about that for him speaking, that it was about, once I get there, I can stun on him. Like Marco had questioned what 2 or 3 streams ago to why do we make these decisions? Do we do it because it's what we're supposed to do for ourselves, or are we doing it to stun on other people?
Right.
I think he didn't do that. Yeah, right. I don't. and from what I'm saying is, I think that according to what Marco had questioned us, he didn't do it to stun on anybody, on his brothers. He didn't do it.
No, he didn't. No, I don't. Think
that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that I don't think that he had any ill will towards him whatsoever, because he understood that what he went through, what he had to do to get to it, and it wasn't about even just the purpose of being next to Pharaoh, as far as in status, but he understood the severity of the situation. Man, this famine shit real.
Yeah.
That worrying about being next to Pharaoh in status is, that shit don't compare to nothing right now about what's about to happen.
Now, when you're starving, don't mean nothing.
Right.
But that's why I said my thought process was, like I said, I enjoyed the part where it seemed that he was more concerned about getting his father to him safely.
Yeah, now he did. I think that was a part of it as well. And also, Pharaoh was too.
In what sense?
Man, he told him to go get him.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
He said, take my stuff and go get him.
Yeah.
Because when you read the text, it says that he was pleased. He was pleased for Joseph that his brothers and his family, that they are alive. And he said, and he personally sent messages. Look, this is what you gonna take this right here to your daddy, to your father, to your family, that they can come here and have the fat of the land, the best portion of the land to live in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What's good, specialist? What's good? What's good? Peace. Salute. And to you as well, Omega Dreads. To you as well.
But that says a lot about what Pharaoh thought of him as well.
Yes, he realized how important he was. He realized, and he had seen, he had heard of what he had done. He's seen how everything he touched, it prospered because of it. And he understood how severe that the situation was, because everything that he had said that was going to come to pass came to pass. So he understood that if there is anyone that was going to be able to get them through this famine, this period of 7 years of famine, that it was going to be him. And what better way to thank him than to give his family a portion of land, a great portion of land for them to live in and be fruitful in while they're there, as thanks and payment for what he has done for his kingdom. So yeah, it says a lot.
Which was I mean, even though it was very generous in comparison to what he did, it still didn't come close. I mean, giving him a plot of land for his family was great, but I mean, that man saved the whole nation. He earned that.
Right. Well,
I'm just saying,
think,
one man by himself saved the whole nation. He earned that.
And I think he did. And I think the other thing is too that also in that, and understanding that there were shepherds, and understanding, they're simple farm folk. Mm-hmm. That them having the best part of the land to do all of this is going to help them out in the long run anyway.
Yeah, well, there's that beginning of generational wealth.
And then also in it, when you read, when you understand it, also now, because of everything that Joseph enacted, now Pharaoh gets a fifth of everything of the produce that they grow now.
That is correct.
So I mean,
that is correct. It's a win-win.
Therefore, yeah, exactly. So
yeah, it's a win-win.
So yeah, it was, hey, he paid him according to what he had done, or what he was going to do, rather.
and again, Pharaoh still came out the cheaper for it. I mean,
he came out good from it.
Yeah, he came out better from it for sure.
Came out good from it.
I mean,
exactly. He did come out better because before that, he wasn't getting no 1/5 of all produce.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I get 1/5 of your produce, and you save my entire nation. Right. Yeah, sure. Hey, go ahead and take that 300 acres. No problem.
And here was the thing. That Pharaoh didn't even know about that in the beginning. He didn't know he was going to end up happening.
Yep.
It wasn't until after the fact. So, it just goes to show the sense that he had to know that, hey, look, man, this guy is going to get it done. And yes, sir, Abadal, we're talking about Joseph during the 7-year famine. Yeah, that's what the whole jealousy series I've done it's been on his story of leading up to that. That's what this is all about. It's all about, learning and seeing how his approach to life through these hardships, everything that, all his detractors that they threw at him, how he stayed focused on what he could do, what he was good at doing through all of that, to come out on top and be in a position to end up, pretty much ruling over all of Egypt as well as his family, to be in a position of greatness, to show what he could do, and to and it just goes to show that having his mindset, of focusing on what you can do instead of what you can't, it's something that we can use in our everyday lives to help make ourselves better, with the decisions that we make, as far as the people we choose to keep around us, and just in general that we make in our everyday lives as well, not even concerning that.
Yep. Which brings us to the next phase. How does all this translate into information to be used today?
Well, I think it goes back to, like I said, man, that link I gave to Marco to come up and ask that question about Why are you doing this? Is it so you can stun on others, or is it benefit, or are you doing this because it's beneficial to you?
Right.
I think man, the question that he asked, it was so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just goes to show that Joseph did it. He didn't do it to stunt. He did it because it was beneficial. He did it because it was what he needed to do. He saw that it was going to be beneficial to him in the long run, and it was also beneficial to everyone around him in the long run. Him doing what he did, he didn't do it to stunt. He didn't do it for any clout. But even though his status and position got raised because of it, I mean, he didn't necessarily do it for that. He did it because it's what needed to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's.
And I think that's to me. I think that's the main thing to get from this story.
Well, yeah. I mean, bottom line, he was given his purpose, and he let nothing deter him from it.
Right.
Not women, not vengeance, not anger, nothing. He just got the job done. And he fulfilled that purpose.
Right.
Excuse me. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I think men need to get on. They need to come to that understanding, especially black men, of course. And they got to come at it from his perspective.
Right.
I think it's a really good thing, and because here's another thing, he didn't allow himself to be emotional, no matter what happened. He didn't let himself become emotional. He maintained that purpose frame. You know what I mean, for lack of a better term. So I mean that's what I take away from it.
Right.
I mean, there's bits and pieces here and there that I enjoyed the story, for other things, but that's the overall moral that I get from reading it.
Right.
Don't take it personal. Maintain your frame and focus on that purpose, because the end result of it is going to be far better than anything you could have thought of. So
I agree.
I mean that's my takeaway as a whole.
Yeah. And like I said, doing things and trying to what's the word, to self-improve for the purpose of stunning on others, it shows a lack of self-growth.
It does.
To me,
it does.
Self-improvement without self-growth, it ain't worth a damn.
Nope. It's
not. It doesn't benefit you, and it doesn't benefit anyone else. To me, it's the epitome of a feminine mindset.
Well, I would agree with that. And in addition to that, if you do it for those reasons, to be honest with you, the only person you're going to end up damaging is generally yourself.
Yeah, that's the person who you're going to damage the most anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
You might damage some others, but you're going to end up damaging yourself the most.
Yeah, exactly. Because even when Marco asked that question, I sat right there and I had to admit, I've done that.
Yeah, I think everybody's done it.
I would agree.
I think the thing is about, have you made a habit of doing that shit?
That's different. That's totally different, because that's what we all grew up knowing as keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, if you made
something
that,
along those lines.
Yeah, peace, saying peace. Yeah, I think if you made that your sole purpose of getting to that other level just to stun on people, man, you got problems.
Yeah, you do. Actually, that kind of puts you in that almost in that narcissistic mind frame, if not completely.
I'm telling you, man, it puts you in a feminine mind frame, because that's how women operate.
Well, like I said, narcissistic.
But heck, narcissism isn't
solely for women, but
it's not exclusive to them. Zero. Hold on. See,
I'm looking at that.
The whole concept of hierarchy and organization is based on people standing above others. That's inescapable, right? You can manage it, which is what society tries to. Exactly. I think, that's the whole point. I think that I get out of this story. It's about managing it. I mean, that he is right there.
No, I don't disagree with that.
I'm not saying you are.
I don't disagree with that at all.
That's why that's why I like having Zero here. He brings out points that other people don't really think about. Great point, said and he is right. It is inescapable, which is why I said I think the thing is making a habit of it. It's why the other thing I tried to say about the questions that not Lawrence, but that Marco asked that day. Well, it rounded off, and it really put the purpose of this whole jealousy series into perspective. Because he is right; it is inescapable. That's why I said everyone's done it. The thing is, making a habit of doing it. If you make that your sole purpose, your sole reason for doing anything, for doing what you're doing, then that is a problem. Thanks for that, Zero. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And again, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. I guess the question I would have is we know, I mean, I agree with him. That's what it is. The question is that how it was supposed to have started? Generally, hierarchies, in my mind, had a tendency to start based on skill set. I mean, you just had people who knew stuff better or more than everyone else, and that generally put them in a leadership role, willingly or unwillingly.
Or they had the specific skill set of knowing what to do with people who had skill sets. I mean, because you had a lot of leaders that they may not have been able to do the stuff themselves, but they knew where to position them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where
absolutely.
They reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But
like Pharaoh did with Joseph.
Exactly. I agree. I get that. I think what it is now, I don't think was the original purpose of it. And again, that's just my opinion, but it did grow into exactly what Zero said it is now. There's no question. It's about stunning. It's about wielding power over others because it does something for your ego and all that.
I don't know. I do kind of think for a lot of them it was the original purpose. There may have been a few that were anomalies to the situation, but most individuals, once they get, that's why I say power and money don't really change people. It reveals who they are. It doesn't change who you are.
Oh, it exasperates whatever qualities they have.
Exactly. So that's why it's kind of, that's why I can't really argue with Zero on that point.
No, I wasn't arguing. I was just
I was just saying for myself.
For
myself. And like he said here with this one, people having belief in the first place is based upon not being satisfied with your place in life and the world around you. Yeah,
I'm not sure I agree with that one.
You don't? I kind of do.
Because I'm not sure if it's a question like myself, for instance. My faith in a higher power has nothing to do with my dissatisfaction with my place in life. I just like to believe that there's something greater than what we currently live in or presume to be reality.
Okay, hold on. Watch this.
Yeah.
So the reality that you live in, you're not satisfied with.
I'm satisfied with my reality.
I'm not talking about.
I see where you're going. Oh, well, then if that's the case, then,
so he's right.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, it just clicked in my head where you were going. So yeah. So he would be right. Yeah.
He's still right.
He would be right. I hate both of you. I really do. But you're right. Because
coming in late.
Because I'd like to believe there's something better than what we're currently seeing and what's going on. Yeah.
See, that's
no, and I get it. My brain took it from a different perspective of thinking of it in the sense of individuality. I'm poor, I want to be rich, that kind of thing.
Right. No,
but as a whole across the board, Zero
just being unsatisfied with society as a whole.
Yeah. He would be right. Yeah,
he's right.
He would be dead ass right.
Thank you for that, Zero. Like I said, I like it when you come in here and you bring out these aspects and facts that seem to elude our vision.
Well, my answer is the same as it's always been. I'm tired of him coming up and being here with all this logic and trying to have sensible conversations, like he's like being all reasonable and everything. Now let me stop.
Man, I would tell you, I appreciate it because it does allow me to look at things. It forces me to look at things. Your existence, your life, except all of that. Yeah, it still rolls all into one. You're right.
Yeah. It's a yes across the board, no question.
Yeah, but yeah, he allows me to kind of see things from a different perspective and look at things and notice things that I did not, may not have. It got past my peripheral. So, like I said, I appreciate the guys that even here don't believe, or agnostic or whatever. That we can. Like I said, I wanted this channel. I wanted this to bring the logical aspects of it that we can actually apply to our lives. All of the mystical stuff. Hey, look, I can't say nothing about that.
Yeah, I can't either. Yeah,
I can't even go on it. I don't even focus on stuff that I can't understand. I don't worry about that. But the logical and practical aspects that it applies in the book, I do want to point those out. I do want to bring those out and show how we can use them. So I welcome guys in minds like Zero, Marco, Agon. What's going on, Hulk? What's going on?
Yeah, I just saw him popped in too.
yeah. And I think that that's why I welcome them here. That way we can it can show and point out the flaws in the thinking that led to where it is now. Of not using the pragmatic aspects that are in there that you can use and apply to make your life better. And man, Hulk, if you want the link, let me know. I think I emailed it to you. You can come on up. But
quick shout out, Black Sheep and Mike Shinnery and Jay Wolf's up in here.
Yeah. Shout out to all y'all, man. Thank y'all for coming out. Black Sheep, that's my guy right there. He cracks me up.
Yeah. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. We got 21 watching, but only 13 likes.
Okay, appreciate that, Lawrence. But yeah, there was a thing, and the other thing too that I like to keep in mind when I made this channel too. I like to keep in mind the simple fact of that. I mean, it's understanding what I'm reading, what it says in there. Man, I ain't got no heaven and hell to put nobody in, so it ain't on me to judge anybody.
Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, Youngster just put something in there that's interesting. If it don't apply to betterment, then let it fly, because maybe it's just you trying to be maybe it's just bitterness from the enemy. Sorry,
right.
And that goes back to what we were talking about flossing and doing it for somebody else's perspective.
Exactly.
And like I said, I've been guilty of that myself. Back in the day. I mean, I can't deny it.
Yeah, we all have.
Yeah. But that's the takeaway I get from Joseph, man. It's just that forget all that, the anger, the bitterness, etc., and so on. The best thing you can do is keep moving forward. I think that's why a lot of guys, and I'm not trying to change the subject. It's just an analogy.
No, it's cool.
But a lot of guys, when they break up with their girl and they want to go out and they want to do this, they want to do that. A lot of them talking about they want to do it to show her what she lost. That's not the purpose, man.
Right.
That's not the purpose, because whatever you do, she already lost. Now it's just about doing what you need to do for you,
right.
And then never mind what she thinks about what the end result is.
And I think the thing is, even not even stating that she lost. The thing is, that's a closed book.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's time to start a new chapter.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. That chapter's closed. Keep it moving.
Time to start a new chapter.
You got to get through the whole book cover to cover, man. You can't just keep reading the same chapter over and over.
Right.
Exactly. I don't know what Hulk meant by this. I'll just on.
I think maybe he just meant he'll just be in the chat maybe.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, God, it's silly, man. Talk about as soon as it pops up in here and this one, I can show it, but I can highlight it. But it put the jewelry game on gingivitis.
On jewelry game ongoing vitis? I
On
don't know.
gingivitis. He's trying to say gingivitis. He didn't put a space in between on and gingivitis.
Oh, so geez, un grande ain't no better.
Hey, but when he wants to be serious though, and ask those Aegon questions that he asked, and a couple of streams ago, that where for us to reflect. Oh, here he is.
Yeah,
Welcome,
that's what I'm
welcome,
saying.
spiritual Hulk.
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up? But
Hey,
when he
shalom, ho, shalom.
shalom.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
I apologize. I still have to get with you about setting up that conversation. I'm sorry.
Oh, you good, man. Look, man, we all be busy, so it's all good,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Very busy
I'm
myself.
yeah.
trying to catch up, man. But welcome.
Welcome. But yeah, I mean, when he asked those questions, that time, as he likes to call them, the Aegon questions, about why are we making these choices? Why are we doing that? Is it to stunt on other people? Are you doing it because it's actually beneficial and helpful? To me, I think that was the crowning moment, to kind of wrap up the importance of this whole series right here. And it just went to show that Joseph, he wasn't doing it to stun on anybody. He was doing it because it was what was needed and had to be done. So, I thank Marco for those questions, man. It was very introspective and very enlightening. Uh spiritual logic. You got anything to add here, brother?
Yeah, so y'all just pick me up with specifically where y'all because I literally just
Yeah,
jumped on, so I
I
just want to
figured.
catch up to speed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, we're on the story of Joseph, and I rounded it off here from I went from Genesis 44 to 46, ended in verse 34. But it's
Okay.
pretty much how his purpose is. The realization of his purpose is being fulfilled. He actually reveals to his brothers that it's him, and he
Mm-hmm.
bears no ill will towards him.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and
Okay.
yeah, he's doing everything because it's what had to be done. And even in his pulling of the strings with his brothers, he still had no ill will. It wasn't to stun on them and to show hey, look, I'm second to Pharaoh now. But he was doing his purpose, which was what was needed to be done at the time, to run everything according to how it needed to be done because of the oncoming famine. So
Exactly, and I think Joseph is a good example to defeat that slavery narrative that people try to hide behind. But, they I got
ooh.
we were sold into slavery, so therefore we can't do nothing. But it's like when you're actually aligned correctly, with your purpose, and when you're taking any situation you're in, and you're being who you need to be in that situation, you will always come out better. Especially in that situation. I mean, his own family. You can't control your family sometimes, and you can't control the circumstances that your family might throw you in. But that's a good example of how, him being aligned with, the Most High, and him being aligned with his purpose in the Most High, it worked out for him. I mean, he actually was able to come back and help his family, not having that bitterness, but just saying, look, y'all were on a whole different level of wrong, but I didn't compromise myself because you were compromised, and look where we
Right.
are now. So that's a good. I love the story of Joseph mainly for that reason of how maintaining yourself through adversity,
Right.
help can help everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And it did. It helped everybody, and in the end, it helped him because he had peace of mind throughout all of it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean, that's a good.
Yeah.
That couldn't have been a better example of showing how your purpose can benefit you and everyone else around you. If a lot of people, people, particularly Black people with slavery, is they actually diminish themselves for a circumstance that you know most of none of us had direct experience in. But we diminishing ourselves based on something that we didn't even have direct experience. Oh, I can't do this because of slavery. Or I can't overcome this because of slavery. It's like that mindset itself is defeating, your purpose in the future, because you're sitting there saying what you can't do and what your limitations are based on something somebody else allegedly set for you.
Right.
But it's a good example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was too. I knew that this ended up being a 7-parter. I knew it was going to be a long one because, man, there's so much information in this story that that we can take and apply to our lives. I mean, there's so many gems in here throughout that whole story that happened, and how throughout it all, he never had bared any ill will toward his brothers or anybody that done him wrong. He just used it as fuel to progress him to the next level that he had to get to fulfill what his purpose was. And that's it just goes to speak volumes of his character, and how um, it's something to aspire to be for
Exactly.
ourselves.
And actually, too, I'll add this is that when you get to a position of power and you do it rightly from a just position, I mean, it's almost like nothing could take it away from you.
Right.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, and that's the part about being a righteous man.
I was going to do a video myself about how people have this misconception of good. People think
Woo.
that good is a weakness, that good is that, but they don't understand that to be good is actually more to be more logical, to fit within the truth that actually will negate a lot of negative consequences and a lot of things that will actually hurt progress and hurt everything. It's like people always see good and nice are not the same words. People lie to be nice. People do you know immoral things to be nice, but to be good is actually maintaining the right course even if everything else goes wrong. And that's where like even the word holy has a wrong connotation because people affiliate with the so-called church and they don't affiliate it within this proper context of being set apart. People want to talk about being an individual or being the outlier, being the person who has the fortitude not to be a conformist and go with the crowd. Well, that's what holy means. It means to be set apart, not to
Yeah.
do what everybody else is doing, but to do what is right regardless to what everybody else is doing. And when we say we're doing what is right, we're saying what will basically be defined to be right by its results, not by a feeling, but by its results, by the outcome. So it's very logical because you say, well, even the Bible says something where even, Jesus said, wisdom is justified of her children, meaning that wisdom is proved by its results. Like something is wise when you get to the outcome of it and you're like, wow, look at what I avoided. It's like oftentimes children don't see what their parents try and tell them because they see that, oh, it's a hard thing. I don't get what I want. But when they grow up and they're successful and they avoided a lot of negative outcomes that their friends didn't avoid, then they understand wisdom. And that's kind of, the wrong context that good, wise, and right, those are the how the world has taken those words out of context and turned them to very subjective, relative terms like a feeling. And that's why people say, I want to be good. And then when they end up claiming the world's version of not being good and they destroy their lives, then they want to blame something else because they fell right into the world's trap of victimhood. Victimhood is you waiting for your leader. You waiting for somebody else to tell you something that you could do.
Right. Yeah.
But you became the conformist and who took away your personal agency and your personal responsibility of understanding wisdom that, yes, your choices can define your life. That's why wisdom is so important because it discerns your choices. It's a proper judgment of things. You don't know the right or wrong choice unless you can discern the situation properly. And it's like people just have a real problem of discernment. But these are, I would say these are spiritual aspects that a lot of people want to reject because they don't realize that how you define a situation is often how the situation is perceived. You either perceive
Mm,
it as, something that you cannot handle or you cannot control, like victimhood, or you see basically you reap what you sow. Or you will end up as you maintain yourself through adversity. Like for personally speaking, adversity has made me everything that I am today. I'm humble, but I'm also very confident in who I am today because of my adversity. I wouldn't be who I am if had I not overcame the things I did. I wouldn't have the understandings that I have.
right. Right.
And
And
go ahead, you got it.
I was just gonna say that Agon brought up another good point too. That love is another misconception.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure. Right.
one of the biggest for
Yeah, I
sure.
was gonna say it might be the biggest. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I want to speak. I mean, I can start off on that. Love is not this from a biblical context. Love has never been defined as a feeling. You know,
Hmm.
if anything, if you go to 1 John 5:3, it says, "For this is the love of God, that you obey His commandments, and they're not burdensome." Meaning that, how can you know if you're loving someone if you're not treating them according to a standard that reflects how you want to be treated? You know, a
Which comes
standard of
which
law.
comes which comes back to what you said before about you have to throw out the feeling, and
Exactly.
it's got to be what the end result of it is.
Exactly. And love is correction. You don't love
Yeah.
someone you don't correct. If you saw a child running off a cliff and you just let them run, you can't say you love them. But if you had to, correct them and get them off their course of feeling, which is going to be
Hmm.
abrasive to them, to say you're about to destroy your life, don't do that. Most people say, well, you don't love me because you're not allowing me to do what I'm doing, but you're going to destroy yourself. It's self-destruction. So,
Yeah.
because people equate love to how it relates to females, and that's where they go wrong, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where they
Especially when it was already stated. I mean, it's not in so many words, but when the commandment was given, men love your wives, women respect your husbands. There's a reason they didn't use love with women.
Yeah. And when they say
There's a reason for that, and
and
I do like what Black Curls just said about love. It's a duty, not a feeling. I like that.
yeah, and when they say love your wives, if you in that same chapter, it says with the washing of the word, meaning that you're basically providing the structure of law for your wife to live in for the benefit of the
right,
family. You're not
right,
just catering to her ego or her feelings. No, you're causing her to submit to the law that you submit to.
right.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah,
Because by making her submit to that law, you yourself are submitting to it as well, and
Exactly.
the two of you are bringing the children along with it. So
Exactly.
overall, it's a solid plan. Um, when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, there's no other way to do it.
Man, I'm telling you, man, people in this world been sold into a whole different delusion of life. Starting with, it's not about like mastering yourself, because if you think about it, like I did a video on my channel called Self Mastery, and that was basically how you have to hold yourself accountable to the standard of law that corrects yourself and that actually exposes your weaknesses and your own issues before you can even deal with the world or anybody else.
Hmm.
Deal with yourself. If you're not even honest with yourself, if you're not self-correcting with yourself, then you're going to fall into any delusion or any deception that the world has set for you. And that's what a lot of people do. They don't deal with themselves, and then they go out and they get exploited by greed, lust, vanity, all these little traps of deception that play on your vices, that play on your senses being dulled. Lust is a dulling of your senses. It's
Hmm.
like when you wake up out of this lie that the world want to tell you about females, and you wake up out of that delusion, you deal with them on a whole different level. You don't allow them in certain spots of your life. You know exactly what position they belong in, and you don't negotiate and compromise with that position. You just don't.
right. And
Yeah.
to kind of round out the whole love thing, I it's been a while, but I did a whole thing on the fact that there is no unconditional love. I got to thank Zero for, for kind of giving me the inspiration to do that. Because I mean, when you look into the text, I mean, it's not taught in church, but
Right.
God requires conditions from you
Exactly.
for His
And
love. So why wouldn't you do the same to show that you are who you say you are?
exactly. And that's another thing. See, it's very interesting because again that goes into the whole victimhood. It's like, oh, I can't help myself, so you have to accept me as I am, kind of thing. Instead of just realizing and instead of just realizing that we all have to be accountable to do what is right according to the benefit of what is right, because the standard of what is right is not just subjective, because we all expect to be treated. I tell people all the time, your expectations you place on people and how you complain proves the law that's written in your hearts and your minds. And I'm not talking about a emotional heart. I'm talking about the heart of your spirit, which is of your mind. Like Everybody says they don't believe in morality until you punch them in the face, until you steal from them, until you lie to them, and they say, "Hey man, why you do that?" And it's like, "Well, you didn't believe in morality, so why are you complaining?" But once you draw a complaint or an expectation in a person, you're holding yourself to the same standard that we all are. The difference is that not everybody's honest. Some people claim you can sit there and say there's no morality until somebody punches you in the face, and then if you say, "Ouch, that hurt," why you do that? You did me a wrong. Then you all of a sudden you're drawing the standard, the same standard that we all have. Like this is why there's no excuse. There's really no excuse about anything because people say, "Well, I didn't know it was wrong," until it's done to them.
Right. Yeah. Well, they knew it was wrong. They just thought they'd get away with it, and they wouldn't have to deal with consequences from it. They really didn't care.
Exactly. That's why I don't. I tell dudes stop falling for these females, playing the victim, act like they don't know what they're doing. They just like women. Females know the legal system. They're very calculative and they're very you know manipulative. Like everything, they know exactly what they can get away with.
Yeah.
It's just that they're counting on men to be weak. They're counting on men to be stupid and to allow them to get away with stuff because they overvalue them and undervalue themselves. All of that is what they count on. And matter of fact, the world counts on that. It's not just a female; it's the world. See, females are just a reflection of the nature of the world because they're conforming.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they don't really come up with anything on their own. They only do what's allowed or what's pushed in the
Right.
world. And I think, and the thing is, like I say, Zero's brought it up many times before. I think this is this is how Lawrence and I become to be friends on here. Is the simple fact that women have always manipulated to gain power. I mean, it's a part of their nature. You can't get rid of it. It's exactly how they manipulate. That's how they operate. It's the only way they can operate because they don't have any actual power to take it, so they have to manipulate you into actually giving it to them.
Yep. It's a biological function. Now.
Yes, it's the natural biological function of them. That's why you have to, as a man, you have to be realistic, especially whenever you tell the younger guys, hey, look, they really don't care about what you think. They really don't care about what you feel. They only care about their own desires. And that mess is going to change from moment to moment. So that's why you have to have a standard in your life that you hold yourself to, and you're not going to let anybody else veer away from that standard that's going to be around you.
Exactly. And it's crazy. I tell dudes all the time, women have not changed since the beginning of time. They've always, the only thing that has changed is men. We've given up more power. We've taken away, we've given up so much. But women are always, not I don't mean no disrespect, but women are going to always be, default to prostitution.
Yes, that's the second part of their nature too. Yes, that is true.
They're going to always. That's why women don't fear consequences or having accountability, because at the end of the day, when a woman's plans go wrong, she's going to just manipulate a man sexually to get what she wants.
Yeah, every time.
Yes.
And it's like dudes have to understand that we are the ones who are changing. Women are going to always be what they are. It's just that men have never, and we're not ever have supposed to become as compromising and as weak and as emotional as we have become to this current condition collectively. That is not our position. We have never, and that was a very strategic, the world has implemented that, but actually us losing our identity and our purpose and what our actual function in this world is why we are giving up so much. Because there are corrupt men who seek to abdicate their position of authority and say, well, I will negotiate with a woman that's not even supposed to be at the table, a seat at the table, so I can have access to her sexually. So you're giving up your very function and design to invite a woman that has no business at a table of men. And so now women are competing with jobs. They're doing all these things they're not even built or designed for, because some man was too weak and too just lacking masculinity in terms of structure,
undisciplined.
Exactly, to deal with the woman in the level she was meant to be dealt with. And now everything's out of balance. The legal system, man, all of this is just it's it doesn't even have to. It just shows you that men are in the beginning is that we are the ones, the weaker ones of us, are compromising too much for something that was never meant to be compromised.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not only something that's not meant to be compromised, but something that, for all intents and purposes, has no value.
Exactly, I'm telling you.
Because with outside the aspect of creating, well, not she's not even creating, but bearing. There you go,
Exactly.
bearing more life, because we create it, they bear it.
Mm-hmm.
Bearing more life, that's their only function outside of that. I mean,
Exactly.
because once you remove that aspect, there's nothing else they have to offer that we have not done ourselves for centuries.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. And women are now starting to understand that more men are taking that ability. I mean, look, men are cooking, cleaning, we're maintaining, we're doing everything, and women are getting upset about it, and that's why they're trying to leverage the legal system against us to try to trick us to dealing with them. So when you don't want to deal with a woman, she can lie and give you a false allegation. Or when you don't want to see the reflex of men taking, basically removing them from our lives is what we see in the legal system now,
Or
where simple interactions are becoming a legal issue.
like Zero likes to point out, you can ignore them, and they call that ignore rape.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Somebody did say that before. Yeah.
Yeah, Zero's the first person I heard bring that up.
No. I mean, no. Zero is the first person that brought it up. Yeah, but I've seen that outside in the real world.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it happened to me.
I've-
It happened to me. I was walking down the street one day, and this chick, I didn't look at her, but I saw her looking at me, and she just started yelling at me. Said, "I can look at you, can I?" And it was the weirdest thing. And she got an attitude because I wasn't looking at her. And then she was commenting on my appearance and stuff. But it was I was like, wow, this is really the insanity is really revealing itself, because now women are to the point where they don't even respect a man who just minding his business, because they're so narcissistic that they want you see. And this will caveat to the thing where women want the attention of all men, even the ones they don't want sexually.
Right.
Because now, if you think about it, what social media is, women want your attention, but they still want to pick and choose who they're going to give sexual attention to. But they want the attention of all men. They want all men to basically worship them. And they'll pick and choose who they want for a particular purpose.
Yep. And in that respect, it's about full on power, and it's about being our God, so to speak, which falls right back into the thing with Eve, man.
Yeah,
The whole purpose of it.
Yeah, that's what I like to point out. I said women have always been this way. After listening to Zero, and it took. I think Lawrence had brought it up. It took me pointing this out. And I like to point out too that the Bible is a familial book first. It's not going to have the entirety of human history in it, but it is a lineage book. But when you look at it too, and you see that when the serpent is talking to her, she already knows she ain't supposed to eat from the tree of knowledge of evil. Because here's the thing: I don't even put the good in there just because of the simple fact they already experienced good. It's just like this though. They don't know it's good until you don't have it no more.
Exactly.
So, but she ate of the fruit because she wanted to become God. She wanted control of everything.
Yep, man. That's why women don't get pushed back on I'm Mother Goddess, Mother Nature, and all this. When Black women of God, they just absorb that, and they actually
we create life. Oh God.
Yeah, they actually keep a circle of fools around them that just feed that into their ego.
Both male and female.
Yeah.
Both male and female. Yep.
And that whole we create. No, you don't create life. It passes through you. You don't do nothing without the man.
But that's why I said what I said. We create, they just bear. That's it.
Yeah, because if you look at even on a very logical, simple level, if you look at the sperm, it's actually moving. That egg, for all extensive purposes, it has living aspects, but it's not really alive outside of just being a cell. But ours is actually functional. It's actually moving.
Yeah.
And it's actually seeking something. It actually has a purpose. and it
Well,
starts. No, you got it.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. I'm sorry.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, what I was going to go back to what you said about the egg, because if you look at the way it functions, ours, like you said, ours move. Theirs drop. There's a
Yeah,
difference.
yep, yep, yeah, exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, ours flows out and moves and goes to fulfill its purpose. Her eggs just drop.
Yeah.
And the fact
And
of the matter is that physically, even with that, she's not capable of handling it. That's why she sheds every 30 days.
yep. And it's like women have to ignore so much biology. You have to ignore so much logical just ability. Like how many times, there's a rise in women getting on antidepressant drugs and psychotropic drugs now because women are in positions that they're just not mentally spiritually designed to deal with. They just can't deal with it. They can't deal with the rigorous function of trying to keep up with a certain schedule and having certain responsibilities. And so women now, what they're doing to keep their power is that they're basically having simps or weak men do their job, but while they maintain that position. So like
Mm.
a lot of times when you see a female CEO, she has some man very close to her in the background.
Oh yeah,
Otherwise she's just unraveling because they're just not designed to maintain that. That's why you see Beyonce and all these other hoes, they glorify one thing, but then as they get older, what's the first thing they do? They get married. They
yep.
get a man with more money than them, and then they quote retire, and then they just kind of make it into a fun thing. Well, I'm still an artist and entertainer, but I do it at my leisure. So
Mm.
now she's in that position where she can still get all the attention, all the glory, but she negates the responsibility because she now has a husband. And women, they don't even see how even a woman at her level is still depending on a man because all they see is the
Oh no,
money.
they see it.
Yeah, because to them, they think that she's kind of manipulating Jay-Z, and she is. But at the same time, she's manipulating him because she doesn't want to have that responsibility.
Well, responsibility isn't a part of their nature. So
Exactly.
it's foolish to expect. It's foolish to expect that from them. The two things that are part of their basic nature are manipulation and prostitution. Um, like I tell everyone, prostitution don't have to be no straight cash for ass transaction. Uh,
Exactly.
I mean, you got to think back when caveman days, these hoes was trading it for a warm cave with a fireplace to stay in to get out from the elements.
Yeah.
It's bartering. Period. Whatever
Exactly.
she gets out of it is, I mean, prostitution is bartering.
And that's what marriage is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Actually,
That's I mean that's literally what marriage is. It's bartered prostitution. I'm going to provide everything for you as long as I have long term and singular access to the vajayjay. You know what I mean?
and my issue with so-called, see, here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. Although we use the words relationship and we use the words marriages, they cannot exist in a culture and legal system where
Mm,
men don't have rulership.
mm.
Because
Mm.
basically, when you use a word like marriage or relationship in a culture and legal system like this, it always defaults to legal extortion and prostitution. It just defaults to that because
Yeah.
Yeah.
because as long as men and women are legally equal, legally, there's no reason for a
Wait,
man to marry a woman. There's no
hey,
reason.
spiritual logic, I gotta disagree. Legally, we are not equal.
No, I'm saying no. I'm just
Legally,
saying. Well, they're superior.
legally,
Women are
they
more
are
superior.
overlords.
Yeah,
They can get
yeah.
away with
That's why. Well,
anything.
I look. I was being nice. Yeah, legally, women are superior because they choose whether the baby lives or dies. They can take all your resources away from you just because they got bored or lonely or whatever, or they just want to be hoes. So they have agency that they shouldn't have in a situation that was designed for male authority. Like
Yeah.
the whole objective of marriage is a male having authority and rulership. That's what it means. A woman doesn't get with a man like from a concept of let's say 1,000, maybe even 500 years or less in the past. No woman got with a man, to except for to be under him,
Right.
for him being the head. And
Just,
and it's
just
funny
kiss them.
because men never even had to deal with women until like this modern age. Like we were dealing with everything else. One issue men never had to deal with was a woman because women just not only did they not have that, it was like collectively they didn't even think to have it. It's just that they were sold that bill by
Well,
fools who got
I'll
yeah
say it wasn't the norm. You probably had a few anomalies that nobody was gonna deal with, but
yeah
it
yeah
was
yeah.
not the norm like it is today.
Well,
Yeah, you had the clear.
generally, if you ran into a woman like that back in the day, before all the modernization and feminism and stuff like that,
Hmm.
for the most part, those women were outliers, and 9 times out
Right,
of
right.
10, they were assumed to be lesbians.
Or
because
whores.
because they
Yeah,
maintain masculine frames and attitudes and etc. and so on. Even if that wasn't the case, she might not have been, but that's generally the category she would be put into because it went outside the normal routine of what women were back then.
Hmm.
And
yeah,
going back to something you had said, spiritual about access to sex and birthing and stuff like that.
hmm,
Here's the thing, they had control of the children, resources, they could take whatever they want. There was only one thing that they were missing, and they got it within the last 5 to 10 years, and that's taking away a man's freedom. That was the last piece of the puzzle. And
yeah,
now they can arbitrarily do it with any man on the street just by saying he visually raped me, or he said something to me.
yeah,
No proof, no accusation, no nothing. Man's already going to get 10 years right out the gate. And now they got this thing where, if a woman accuses a man, and I don't know if it's everywhere, but I've seen it in 1 or 2 states, where she doesn't even have to show up in court
wow,
for what she accused him of, which absolutely goes against the Constitution, because you're supposed to be able to go face to face with your accuser, as well as, a company of peers. Because I remember one time I was on a jury, a jury duty, and it was something with a white guy and all that good stuff. And I really didn't have too much to say when it came to making a verdict. And somebody had asked me why, and I said, because I'm not his peer.
Mm.
I'm not his peer. One, I'm not white. Two, he's not. He's blue collar. I'm white collar. I'm not his peer. I really don't have too much to say on it, and that's how I
yeah,
look at it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so
Because
so so in that respect, that's how women operate, with that nonsensical circular logic, or whatever have you may. And like you said, it's for nothing else, no other reason than just attention. That's it.
yeah,
That's it. I mean, they're not building towards anything. They're not creating anything. They just want everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
I
and that
mean,
could
I was gonna say, I mean, when you look at it, when has construction or repair work been a part of the natural occupation of women? Never.
never. Yeah, yeah. It's
Mhm.
man, y'all hitting it right on the nail. It's and it's just sad. Women have realized that. So what they're doing now, since men have been waking up about the last 20 30 years, is that they're actually becoming the heads of household to brainwash these sons to being drones for them to maintain. Like, women are actually at the point right now where they're breeding the losers that they're going to control in the future.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's been going on since the
Well,
'80s, man.
well, they're breeding losers for other women today in the future.
Now,
And the whole funny thing about it is I've said it before. Um, I mean, you can't, as a boy, you cannot expect your mother to tell you the truth about female nature, because if she does, it means she has to admit she done this fuck shit to somebody else. And
include
what
in,
that does is that diminishes her infallibility in your eyes.
yeah,
But
including the manipulation of her own son, by usually preventing the father to be around, and doing all that other stuff that a lot of people can see.
Well, and then there's the third part as well, which goes to both of you actually, because it's 3 parts. You got the first part, eyes, and you got the second part. Well, here's the third part. She's not going to tell him because she knows that without a man in her life, she's trying to make that son the new husband. So when she
Yep.
gets older, she has
Mhm.
access to his resources.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why mothers have such a hard time
What
with sons who end up getting a woman or a girlfriend or a
and the
wife.
most valuable resource that she wants from him is his time.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely, absolutely,
because
yeah.
don't nobody else want to deal with her.
Well, I
Nobody
mean,
else wants to deal with her.
when she reaches a certain age, she's burnt out all her opportunities. So the only one left You know what I'm saying? Is that from a male perspective that can give her that attention is going to be that son.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, because we see it in sports where I bought my mama a house. I bought my mama, I'm taking care of my mama. What's his name? Chris Boss. Mama was on cocaine, and he had to put her out the house that he bought. Because these women they're holding out their whole like useful years, and they're banking on their son making it into a either high position or becoming an athlete or entertainer or something. Like
Well,
you said,
Lawrence Fishburne did it in the early '90s. He cut his mom's off completely. And
yeah,
she got so upset she ended up going to the news talking about she's broke and she's gonna be evicted in the whole 9 yards. People said all kinds of stuff about him in the news. He just ignored it, and he didn't do
smart
nothing
man,
for her.
smart
Yeah,
man.
he just ignored. He didn't respond to it. They asked for interviews. He wouldn't give it, and
Right,
she look. It is what it is. Now
right.
you look at the mother, and then you look at what happened with his daughter going into porn.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He did the same thing with her. I can't get mad at him. I
We,
can't, I can't. I can't get mad at him. But I think the worst thing I've ever seen, and I don't know who it is because I'm not really into sports. I'm really not. But I can't. I was a basketball dude. He was on the court. He was being interviewed. His mother was there and his father was there, and he gave all praises to his mother. Had her standing shoulder to shoulder, side by side with him, and the father in the back. It didn't say one damn thing about
oh,
the
you mean the
father.
stepfather was it Zion Williams?
I don't know if it was the stepfather or not. I just know the
Yeah,
father was there
yeah,
and he was behind him and he talked about how my mama did this, my mama did that, my mama did this, my mama did that. Said
this is recent.
nothing about that man. No, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Okay.
I would say
Oh, okay.
I would say it's about a year or two ago.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but that vexed
Well,
me.
yeah, that might
That vexed me.
that would be about Zion. Yeah, that'd be about right.
But even more so, that's most of them.
Yeah,
That's most
that
of
is
them. That's
most of them.
that's that's
Yeah.
I
LeBron.
mean,
That's LeBron. I mean, they might not. Well, a lot of them do cry when they talk about their mama, but it's sickening, man.
It is. It really is. It vexes me to no end. My mama took me here. My mama drove me to every game. Okay, but guess who paid for that gas in that car that got you there? Guess who paid for those classes you took?
and,
Because mama wasn't working. So what? At the very least, like yo, I'd like to thank both my mother and father. You know what I'm saying? They both got me here. Yada yada yada. Blah 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 blah.
and
But when you stand there on camera, man, and you put your father behind your mother and let her stand side by side to you like she's equal. And then all you do is talk about her, man. Yo, I can't even begin to tell you how tight I was when I saw that, man.
and and not only that too, you have to think of the other male role models that they had during this journey as well. I mean, from coaches to everything,
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
and nothing for them either.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's just crazy because women want to be empowered, so they can keep men on the background for cleanup men. Like
Yep.
the mothers are using their sons as cleanup men. The wives are using the husbands they get late in life as cleanup men. It's like women want to be empowered whores. They want to go around and just be undisciplined, is wild. Because, like I said, women are going to be that if society doesn't provide them the structure and the consequences of with that. If you think about cultures 1,000 years ago, I'm just saying, it's like no, women used to be exiled. They used to be disciplined. If they were caught in any situation that just brought a shame, they were harshly punished and disciplined. I'm just going to leave it at that. And
Yeah.
and and that was incentive for future women to see the consequences of taking that path.
Well,
And
I mean, I'm
so
sorry.
women actually value, finding themselves useful in a man's life to play the role that she was raised. And that's again, they were actually raised to play that role at some point in the distant past and all that. And it's like it actually, once and when you caught women stepping out of the routine, in some cases they were called witches and Jezebels and all this other stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, they were dragged out, thrown in lakes, put on stakes and burned. Germany, they used to just take you outside and shave your head, man. They take all that hair off,
Wow.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
if you want to see that happen, take a look at some old World War II films and it was France too, because after the country got liberated, all the females who conspired with German soldiers were literally dragged out into the streets, and they shaved their heads off, man. They
Yeah.
shaved their heads. I mean, I mean, they went deep too. They were cutting into the scalp, blood pour. Yo, it's just how it was, man. You
And
got
I'm gonna
you.
use a and I'm gonna use an example from the Bible about the leaven. You know, it says, "Cut out that leaven, that leaven will destroy the whole lump." Or that apple, you take out that rotten apple before it spoils the bunch. And we see that now because when you see this undisciplined women who society has given this unmitigated authority, what does she do? And most times, when these women reap their consequences, they self-destruct and kill the kids. They kill the husband. They go berserk once those consequences of that lifestyle
Yeah.
present itself, and they
Yep.
realize that they no longer have the youth and the guile and the charm to manipulate the situations. They usually go on a murderous intent rampage.
Yeah, yeah,
Children, everybody.
yeah. Well, I mean, look, the last Department of Health statistics, 71% of children killed by one parent are killed by their mothers, and out of that
Yeah.
71%, 60% of them are boys.
Wow.
Mm.
So think about that. What they're doing is they're taking out on the boys what they wanted to do to the father.
Or just men in general.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
drop
yeah,
them
yeah, yeah,
down.
yeah. But generally, more often than not, from the stories
It's
that I've
focused on the
seen,
father.
it's focused because of the father. He ain't no good. He ain't this. And every time she looks at the boy, she sees him. It builds up. Yada yada yada. Don't get me wrong, Eisen. I'm not saying you're wrong. It does happen.
Yeah, but
But
remember,
Only,
but
I
remember
mean, my bad.
the father is the scapegoat for the men that got
exactly,
away.
Yeah,
exactly.
and the only reason why I was saying that, because I mean, let's be real. We see it all the time. Halftime, they don't know who the daddy really is.
And yeah, that's the other thing. One out of every 3 or 4 children are not the child of the actual dude she's with.
And that doesn't include the people who didn't get tested. So
That's
it's much
correct.
higher. It's much
That's
higher
correct.
than
Yeah,
that.
it's much higher. It's much higher. But like I said, when you're slightly over 30%, that's a bad ratio.
Oh yeah,
Even if
yeah,
it
yeah.
was 25%, it's a bad
That's
ratio.
horrible. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
Like I said, that's 1 in 3, 1 in 4, something like that.
And they have
Uh,
no shame because
that's bad.
these would be women. You know, it's not just the obvious promiscuous women. It's actually the women who put on this good cover, and I mean,
Church girl.
all of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
And
Every
it's like,
last one of them.
and look, and, you know, some guys think we hate women when we try to just tell them that look, it's not. This is what we're saying. We're saying that when societies took away the discipline and the structure that kept women in line via consequences and punishment, basically discipline, that women's nature was allowed to just go unchecked. And that means that your so-called quote unquote, and I'm not going to use good, nice girl, given the proper situation, she has the potential to be like the worst woman.
Oh, she's gonna take it. She's gonna take that opportunity. Every last one of them, given that opportunity, are gonna take it. Which is why I know all women are like that because essentially, it's you're giving a kid the keys to the damn candy store and expecting them to buy for the shit, to buy the shit. You know they ain't gonna do
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, like I said, it's look, it's no different. It's no different than me having all girls. Look, man, I can do the best I can teaching them. I can do the best I can breaking it down for them. But at the end of the day, biological function will always override their logic. It always does.
And
You
that's
know.
why it was a position of men to uphold certain laws and structures in society to keep that at bay when, the household situation couldn't do it. Society was the default to kick in.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
now society has went full illogical,
Yeah,
full
yeah, yeah,
unbalanced.
yeah. Absolutely. Because the way it broke down, and I think you and I talked about this before, Isaac. Men kept other men in check. Women kept other women in check. And those
Exactly.
women who kept those other women in check based their concept off the structures of the laws for society that men created.
Exactly. Perfectly said. I agree.
So, you know, they're losing it. They're losing it bad.
And
Um,
this is why I have, I struggle, with a lot of guys, when we try to explain to them, like, you know, based on this legal system, based on the culture, why marriage is just not, it's not a doable thing. It's not like a man wouldn't want to just have a woman and raise a family, but it's like the idea that we don't have the legal rulership and the legal authority, the fact that the culture and the social construct is totally illogical, that all plays a extremely important role of why you don't see men like us promoting marriage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
And instead of just accepting the fact, and that's the thing, instead of accepting the fact that we don't want to play the game anymore, your game plan is to use shaming tactics,
exactly.
create laws to force us to deal with you, and all and so on and so forth. And you're not. They're not going to understand. Those laws are not going to mean anything. As a
Well,
matter of fact, all you're doing is pushing us farther and farther away, and we will find a way to circumvent them the same way we found ways to circumvent the others.
and the thing for me is, look, I'll pay that bachelor tax. It's
Yeah.
cheaper and less of a headache in the long run dealing with them hoes.
Yeah.
No, I
And
don't
it's like,
disagree. I don't disagree at all.
yeah, and it's crazy because I tell dudes all the time the potential shouldn't even exist for a woman to be able to legally extort you. The
Oh yeah.
potential shouldn't exist. Guys want to say, "Well, my woman didn't do it." I'm like, "Well, the potential for her to do it is still there, even if she didn't do it yet. It's still
That's
there."
what I always tell them. I always say that. I always tell them, as long as the laws are in place, you constantly have to live under fear that she could wake up one morning and change her mind just cause.
Exactly, and
I tell them that over and over again.
and then they start, and then that's when they get into this kind of like, I'm just gonna hope, and I'm like, as a man, we don't depend on hope. That's why we have structure. That's why.
And to round out what y'all were talking about, forget the point of dealing with them as your girlfriend or whatever. I mean, when you got it in society, when they can make false claims against your character, against rape, and ruin your life forever, even if I'm talking about you're not even dating them, you ain't even
Right.
screwing them, and to be able to ruin you like that forever off a lie, and then they get to walk free.
It goes deep, but here's the funny part. As bad as that is, it goes deeper still, because you got to understand that when they put these things in place, it might have started out being women you deal with, girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I talk about. That's why I said the statement I made about the women you ain't.
Right, but the way it is now,
Anybody.
and the direction that it's going, my
Anyone.
sister, who I haven't talked to in almost 20 years, can get up eventually and come at me.
Yeah.
Just because she wants my resources.
Yeah.
And it don't have to be anything about a false allegation or anything like that. They're literally making it to the point that any woman can walk up to a man and take his resources, regardless
scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'll be in there like, so I don't even know why I'm here, Judge. Well, your sister says you have yada, 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 and she feels she should have a portion of it. I haven't talked to her in 20 years. That's not my problem. I have to follow the law.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, 50% of what I created is gone. Now think about this. Imagine what that is. If my sister does it and wins, my aunts will do it. My mother will do it. My cousins will do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Everybody gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Now, my daughters is a different thing. I die, I'm leaving stuff to them. That's what I do. That's what any father would do. That's a whole different kind of scenario. The worst case with them is they might sue me because they want it sooner than later.
Yeah.
You feel me? But at the same time, that's my pussy. I made it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll get pissed because you're jumping the gun. But again, that's my children. You're talking about people who you don't interact with, you don't talk with, who can just arbitrarily. I mean, think about this. Based on that logic and following this to its final conclusion, a chick I haven't talked to since I was 7 years old can take my shit. Wow. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. A chick I haven't talked to since I was 7 years old decides in the morning, okay, he's got this, I'm making a play for it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think it's already happening because if you look at, people like Bill Cosby who had like 50, 60 plus accusers, some of those women, I don't even think he knows, like directly.
Yeah. I agree.
It might be just in passing, and they created some scenario where, I did it. It was me too. And now, it was believed. And so now, the hardest thing to defend is a lie because it doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah.
So now you have to understand, how do you fight something that doesn't exist? Once it's given weight. Once it's given weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that proves another point too, because just by what happened with him, they threw out law just to accommodate these women because the statute of limitations had ran out quite some time ago.
Yep.
Mm.
And those documents were sealed and they were opened anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And Sir Abadayu, hey, look, I will tell you right now.
Who's Roger?
Hey, we're talking about Roger Report. I could care less about what Roger Report got to say about that.
I have no idea who that is.
Anybody that's gonna let a woman come over in their house and he drop everybody out the panel for an hour to let a hoe talk bad to him on your shit ain't got no say. I can tell you now, man or woman, ain't nobody coming over here and gonna talk bad to me like that. They will get up out of here with the quickness.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. I have no idea. But back to what we were saying, you know, and I've said this before, and Eisen can verify, and a couple of people in the chat can verify too. I know it's coming, and I know it's going to be that way. Like I said, just the fact that two blood relatives of mine have already offered themselves up to be asked to me. You understand what I'm saying here? You know, I mean,
yeah, it's bad.
I got one cousin who's so close. The next step for her to be is my sister. There's nothing else she could be. I mean, we're first cousins. Other than first cousins, the only other thing after that is being your sister.
Right. Yeah.
And offering themselves to me for the sake of resources. And I got another one, you know, the same thing. That's what I'm saying. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. The worst is coming.
And from what I've heard, this is not anything new. It's just that, you know, as society becomes more debased and more wicked, all this stuff is just coming to light. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening. It's just coming to light. See, it was in the shadows. It was hidden. But now when everything's accepted now, and then they're making everything legit legally, women are getting bolder to say anything.
Yeah, yeah. And Wagner had made a point too about it's a crime to holler at a girl on the streets in France. You can go to jail. That's true.
Wow.
And in addition to France, France made sure that men had no way of getting out of the problems that they have because they passed a law that a man cannot get DNA tested on a child unless the mother authorizes it. And they made that law. They made that law. They made that law. That is the law now.
That's just wrong, man. That's wrong. See, now women are just, you're saying that a woman could do anything and you have to deal with her consequences. No, that's the opposite of being a man, is that you have to be subject to what a woman does. That is
but here's the scary part, because there's only one thing left for them to do after making that pass. Now they're gonna force men to sign birth certificates, because that's the only way out of it right now. Don't sign the birth certificate. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and then
Zero said that's the UK law.
It's in France too, my dude.
No. Damn.
Wait, which one is he talking about? Hollering at the girl, or what I'm talking about?
I think what you're talking about. I think he said, you know, it's in UK too.
Okay, all right. Well, I can believe that. I can believe that. Europe has a tendency to do group shit. I can believe that. I can believe that.
Well, I know what the cross out the travel list, boy. Golly.
But bottom line is what this is going to be is that it's eventually going to end up being where they're going to force men to sign paperwork to assume responsibility for women they have nothing to do with.
Dang. Well, you know, there was already a case, I think it was in Ohio or something, where the woman put the man's name down on the birth certificate for a child that wasn't his, and he had trouble going to court getting out of paying child support. It was a big case on the news, and he paid like so much, or he was going. I think he went to jail at first, and she just signed his name on there.
But that's that's the child support division. Well, I wouldn't even call them division, because they're not a government organization. Because here's the thing, what they do, and I've noticed this, a woman will put him down for child support. They will literally wait till maybe the last 30 to 60 days to notify that man he's on child support. Wow. That way they build up arrears, and also they put him in a hard spot, because generally in most states you only have a year of that child's birth to ask for a paternity test to ensure that child's yours or not. Now you got to do that in 60. Now you got to do that in less than 60 days. I've seen that. Like I said, I don't know if everybody's doing it, but I've seen that happen a couple of times. So right out the gate, you don't have enough time to get the paternity test to fight it in court, so you can't present your case, and you've already acquired arrears on top of it.
Hey, you know what's funny? I was on a panel one time, right? And there was I think it was a couple of women YouTubers who had, they're pretty big names in the women. I think one was Pretty Kelly and the other one was Mahogany or something. And I was on this panel, and so the woman, and usually I don't even pay attention. I'm kind of like Lawrence to a degree, but I'm a little bit more out engaged. So she was like, "So what do you expect women to do?" And I was like, women, what do you mean? What do I expect? I'm not expecting anything from women. At this point, it's not even about y'all. It's about the fact that men are just not going to deal with the legal situation. It's like we don't have the legal rulership to even make this stuff valid. It's nothing a woman can do, except for I doubt all the women are going to take to the streets and vote for men to have legal authority over them. That's the only thing that might help if that all the women got so sick of the world that they're destroying with the power they have, that they go to the streets and force the legal system to give us legal authority over them, the children, and our resources indefinitely. But they're not going to do that. That's the only thing. See, and I think what's going to happen is the world is going to have to be into a apocalyptic scenario where all the structure and government has been abolished, and then only in that scenario, even after then, it's going to be a while because women are just going to live off their behind for a while. But then only off of that are they going to say, we need men to take care of us. We need y'all to do anything you got to do. But by that time, it's too late. And that's, and because women will actually let the world, the hubris and narcissism is so bad, women will probably let the world burn.
No, not probably. They will.
Yeah.
No, I'm not being funny.
It's not until it's burning that they want to change something.
Well, look, MOT and I have talked about this before. There's a lot of brothers who are out there who have this theory in their mind that all I have to do is wait it out. When the world goes bad, women will fall back into their place, and then they'll start doing what we say. That's not how this is going to work, bro.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
That's not how this is going to work. They're not going back. The genie is out of the bottle.
Yeah, they'll just probably go to prostitution 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. What you have here, and again, all we have to do is look at history. It literally has to burn to the ground. Rome, Egypt, Babylon. It has to burn to the ground. There is no it gets bad and they're going to start getting in line. It has to burn to the ground. That is their nature.
Well, the thing you have to remember, Lawrence, is look, the truth of the matter is that niggas are emotional.
True.
So they care too doggone much. They care too much about somebody that said they don't give a damn about them.
Yeah,
been saying this shit for 100 years.
That's crazy.
No, and believe me, I know that. I do know that. I'm just trying to let brothers know out there that what they think is going to happen is not what's going to happen in any capacity. In any capacity, and there are brothers who are really holding on to that. They really think that's how this is going to work, and it's not.
Yeah, I can't. Like I tell a lot of guys have a hard time understanding. Look, it's not like I wouldn't appreciate having a son or having a child, but it's just not going to happen. I've actually said to myself, it's not going to happen, and people don't understand how serious I am. I'm 100%. Even everybody knows me. People in my family, I tell them it's not happening, and they laugh and say, "Oh, you're going to change." And I say, "Why do you think I don't mean what I say?" Like it's not something that I would like. It's just that we don't live in the world where that's a logical that's a logical scenario for me. I mean, it's getting so bad, like literally year by year. If I tell people, maybe if I was born, maybe if I was born in the late 60s or.
Nope, that's me. That's me. I'm telling you, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm being honest with you. I'm being honest.
I believe you, because they don't realize it's not just where we are now; it's where we potentially are, where we are headed. It's not even about now; it's where we're headed. And I'm just, and it's like, as women get more desperate, they actually get worse.
Yes.
And
yes.
And I'm just not gonna do it.
And that thing you have up there with zero, it doesn't have to. Augustus came through and tried to fix Rome in the fourth quarter, and the men killed him. That's my point. It can't work. because there's going to be a bunch of simps who are going to take out the dude. It can't. It won't.
Well, here's the thing to elaborate on that. Here's the thing. It's like when when your boy Platinum Elite say, "Come back to the game." The contract has always been, look, you niggas that we don't want, y'all pay for a layaway plan on possibly getting access to it, while we get to eat for on discount price. You know, we doing the Steam sale 75% off, while y'all doing a layaway plan on possible access. That had always been the deal between them and the hoes. But now, since Muggs figured, hey, look, I ain't doing no layaway plan on possible access, and enough of that money ain't rolling in, and the attention ain't either. Now them niggas got to pay, and they don't want to.
Yeah, and that's another one of the problems, because they've relied on that system. They get the woman to get with quote unquote us, who they label as betas, simps, incels, whatever have you may, and we pay for the pussy while they're doing the pussy and getting the money from her. And we've seen that. A dude asks a chick out on a date, man. She go to an expensive restaurant. She orders a big package and then a doggy bag to take home with crazy ass food. And she walks in the door and she's giving it to the dude she's actually sleeping with. We know this. We've seen those stories, man.
And I'll add this, man, to kind of destroy the whole alpha beta paradigm. The issue with that is that now this is so out of control that both the alpha and the beta, they both don't have no value anymore, because women you're still sharing the same hoe. You're sharing her, because women, they want the guy they want, but they also will not give up the resources they want. And we see this in the entertainment industry. We see women get with the athletes and all these guys, but they still will sabotage them legally, and they'll get married and the marriage will end, because women, they, at the end of the day, they want to be, they only empower themselves to be free. They want to have complete agency to move around, to get married, to divorce, to get resources, to haul around, still have a retirement plan with the simp at the end. Like, they still want it all. They don't want just like these out, even if you take the alpha concept, that assumes that woman, when she gets with you, she just wants to stay with you and fall in line. That's not the case. She's gonna burn.
Yeah, but that's been going on forever. I mean, comedians have been making jokes about that forever. You know what I mean? Chris Rock, she has a breaking case of emergency, dude. Yep. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Carlin, they all talked about that, man. They want the 3-man thing: the mandingo in bed, the one who does the resources, and the other one who's good with the kids and taking care of the house. This is old. This is old.
And people don't realize that women are literally having orgies now. It's not even about just having one dude. Like, women are getting to the point right now where they're just out of control. Like, they're going around, like, when we know it's bad when women will literally get trains ran on them.
Mm-hmm. And hey, look, and it ain't just a whole bunch of dudes in the room either. It's women too. Whatever.
Yeah. No.
It's all of up in there.
No, you dead ass right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they going all wild. And then to the point that Agon said, remember when the Hebrews left Egypt, who came after them? The thing to point out about when the Hebrews left Egypt was the simple fact, damn that them niggas wanted to go back to slavery. They wanted to go back to slavery because they didn't want to have to do the work to live and survive on their own. They didn't want to.
That's exactly. I could believe that, because that's what we see today.
Exactly.
Yeah. And after January 20th, I'm telling you, man, they're coming for people like us.
Oh, I already know. I'm already, I'm doing what I can, but I know
exactly.
All hell's gonna break loose.
Yeah, and I'm not just talking about this space. I'm talking about in real life, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're coming for us. All the brothers who walked away, all the brothers who don't want to have nothing to do with it in the whole 9 yards, they're definitely coming for us because, and again, we've seen it on whoever stream you want to pick, whatever name you want to pick. These chicks know that we've walked away, and because we've walked away, they know they can't see what we have resources wise. So now they're going to be playing. Their game is to come in and see who we are, what we got, and try to take it. What's up, MOT?
Yo, what's going on, MOT?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's up, y'all?
Well,
Yeah, I was
when it
telling him
comes
about our
to
conversation before
wow.
with brothers thinking that this is going to be different just because it got bad.
No, like there's a problem with that people don't understand. Hey, that's not me.
No, that was
Yeah, I
me. I'm
think it was
sorry.
Lawrence.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was me. It was
Yeah,
my alarm.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. I mean, like a lot of dudes think that like a play on words. They think it's a poverty of bitches. Like this actual situation is going to bring that. I'm like, yeah, you're going to bring opportunists in until they see what you got. I'm like, you're literally advertising for
To be elite.
saboteurs to come in your camp. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so it's like, look, and it's worse than what you say, Hulk. Way worse than what you say in
I
the
believe
sexual
it.
department. But no, it's just that what people don't really understand is you're gonna have to pass up a hell of a lot more than you engage in.
Hmm.
Mm.
That's
And
true.
if you
Yeah,
can't pass
Mm.
it up, and if you can't pass it up
Done dollar.
when you're supposed to, how the hell are you gonna be able to pass it up when you're not supposed to? So it's like it's still gonna be discipline that's going to be able to bring you to where you are because one undisciplined move, one thing can ruin your reputation, and they're not gonna be thorough. They're just gonna take it, print it, and believe it.
yep.
They, they don't care. And it's like, hey, you know who's going to sell you out more than anybody else? Well, we know the women's silence will always do that. It's going to be other men.
Yeah, I was
It's
going
going to
to
be
say
Yeah.
other men who's going to do that.
it's
Yeah.
It's
always
already
other
happening.
men.
It's already starting.
It
Yeah.
was no, not starting. It started. That's been going on for a minute.
Yeah. Like when they were talking about when Marco Channel got pulled down, and somebody was trying to say some women, no, it wasn't the women, it was the niggas that got the
Men,
shit pulled down.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
His channel's gone?
He had to
yes.
start a new one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. You
Yep.
serious?
Now they
Yep.
complained that a girl who was smacking her butt, that was a sexual thing, but yet they got a chick spreading her vagina wide open naked just for naked yoga.
Wow.
But his channel got taken down. Okay.
Right. Yeah, it was the dudes. Yeah, it was the dudes.
And you know
I
the
know it
woman was
was.
fully consensual and everything, laughing and all
Dude,
that.
she was on the sofa in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, and she was just smacking her own butt. That's all it was.
Wow.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
At least that's all I saw anyway.
I mean, I could probably tell you what happened. A whole bunch of these dudes went in and flagged it as an underage girl is actually going through that.
Oh, I
And
wouldn't
they
doubt
probably
it.
pulled the
Yeah,
channel fucking immediately.
that
I
wouldn't
wouldn't doubt
surprise me.
it.
That wouldn't
I
Wow.
wouldn't doubt
that
it.
wouldn't surprise me at all.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Mind you, looking at her, you
I
can
mean,
tell she's not, but okay.
yeah, but yeah. But when you put it in Daggle sense, thin women are only associated with you.
Bitch knees, when you put in bitch knees, huh?
Yeah.
but like I said, in MOT, you and I have been talking about this a lot lately, man.
Yeah.
Brothers need to get it together, get it straight, and leave these
And leave
broads
this shit
alone.
alone. And leave
Yeah.
it alone.
Leave it alone.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, and I've been saying it since I got here. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not. It took me.
Me neither.
It was rough. It's rough. Like I said, I do enjoy pussy, but I don't need it. and that's the mind
Yeah.
for you. Men forgot how to be stoic. That's one of the main things that I've noticed.
And you,
Yeah, I'm sorry, spiritual. Go
no,
ahead.
I was going to say, speaking on that, it's crazy. Once you get to a certain level as a man, qualifying yourself and achieving certain of your goals, what the thing that I've noticed, you turn down more women than you accept.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you do.
Not only yes you do, but yes I have. So
And not only yes you do, but yes you have to.
yes,
Exactly.
yes,
And
correct.
these guys who think, I'm a player, I get so many women, they don't realize that's a sign of weakness. Is that you're so subject to taking these hoes, these women, because if you're not turning them down, then you're basically accepting the worst of the worst in your life and calling that a victory.
As normal. As normal. Because it's new to them. They go
Wow.
over there and they spray some of that new car smell and they just go with it. That's kind of what it is. So,
Mhm.
Oh my God, it's crazy to listen to these guys. They talk about, just taking something. I'm like, y'all have no shame, man. Y'all have no standards at all. Y'all don't care about consequences. Y'all don't care about nothing. Y'all just say, look, man, if you can get the hoe, that's all that matters. Is getting the hoe. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, with no vetting of whether she's even
No.
worth it. Like I said, look, even if I was let's say tomorrow I got back in the game, so to speak. All right. Even if I did and I started dating or whatever have you may, here's the thing. They still don't vet.
No. I mean, because it's all about being there temporarily. So it's kind of like I'm gonna dance on the water and don't get wet. Like this is what they want to do
Yeah.
until they end up in child support court.
Right. Or they say, you know what? You just gotta threaten to hit the girl or something. I'm like, hold up. You
Oh,
treating her like some
whoa,
kind of
whoa,
wild
whoa,
animal? No, but that's what they say. It's like
whoa.
your pimp hand ain't strong enough. Like, bruh, we don't live in the Middle Ages. And not to say that even in the Middle Ages, if you have to hit a woman, then she don't want to be there, bro. Like you should want,
Oh no, man.
But that's what they say. Is like you have to strong arm the bitch and all this.
No,
I'm just like,
no.
okay,
The problem is, man, it's just that most of these people they spend so much time without. The only thing they can care about is with, and that's really screwing up a whole lot of people. And they have
yeah,
to realize that these, if you're waiting this late to get basic experience, not completion,
hmm
you're going to you're going to go after the first thing that has enough chromosome to be a woman by sheer definition of how the system is set up.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I tell these guys is I say, part of the problem is that sex is too easy. But they
Yeah, it
don't
is.
they don't want to talk about that. It's not that sex is hard. It's too easy. There's no standards. There's no basic standards that women have, that make any sense. Like it's too easy for anybody to leverage anything to get anything from a woman. And it's like now women are just, they forget that they have wombs and that they create, well, not really families, but they have children. And the result of that is, okay,
Yeah, they create
you
broods, and the child's are
exactly.
considered cubs,
Ex- ex-
because
ex-
they call it a cub, one, because it's dangerous, and the second thing is the actual assumption that the father is going to be around. It's just not going to happen.
exactly.
Like that's the difference between a cub and an actual kitten or a cat. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, it's like I said, it's what we've seen so far is nothing. What's coming
nothing
after
compared to
January?
what's about to happen. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
After January 20th, man, this is gonna be lit. And like I said,
and
their primary target is gonna be men like us. You could like I
yeah,
said, you could see it on whatever stream you want to pick when women are allowed to come up on the panel. You can hear, regardless of what they say, regardless of what kind of conversation it is, you can hear the desperation in their voice, whether they're talking calmly, whether they're losing their cool and they're yelling and all
Right.
that stuff. It's just gonna be it's coming, man. You can hear the desperation in their voice. They're panicking because they know they're out of time. They're panicking because, quote unquote, where have all the good men gone? Good men haven't gone anywhere. We're just ignoring you. And they know this. They know that goes back to what you did, spiritual, when you came up on that stream a couple of weeks ago, on Fantastics, where you said, look, let's just stop the bullshit. Look,
Yeah,
yeah, call it for what it is. You guys know what you're doing. We know what we're doing. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Let's just stop playing. Okay. We all know what the game is. We all know what we're trying to do. Just admit to it. It's just bad, man.
Yeah, I
They
tried. I've been on several panels where females up there, and I just say y'all falling for it, man. Y'all actually believe that these females don't know what they're doing. That you actually believe that somehow that they don't know, but choosing the wrong men in the wrong situations is going to have a negative outcome. Like they don't know that gives them legal power by choosing a fool to leverage the system and get what they want. Instead of choosing a qualified man where they're exposed because that man's living by a standard that exposes them not living to one, and it's easily exposed, and they're wrong. Is clearly the accountability is on a woman, A woman's going to always avoid anything that shines light on accountability. So that what they're going to do is they're going to align themselves with a fool, so that their ignorance is overshadowed by his ignorance or his dysfunction.
Oh, my bad. Keep going. I thought you were gone.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, because in this system we have now, men are always gonna be, what a man does is always gonna be magnified over what a woman does. So if a woman chooses a fool, it doesn't matter that she's a hoe, that she chose him. They're just gonna look at the fact that, oh, he ain't got no job, and it's like, well, they're gonna say everything about the man except for the fact that she chose him to have a baby with.
Yeah.
And I mean, but they don't understand that they're getting chose because control and access to the same circumstances that brought you to her, and her to him is what she's trying to leave in place so that way it could keep being recreated.
Yep.
And I think the thing is too that the thing is, Hope, that these dudes actually think that these bras care. That's the number one thing that they're not getting through their heads, that they do not care.
Look, man, it's a responsibility of a man to care about his own life.
That's
not
right.
To put it in the hands of a woman that's going to hold it hostage, hold his peace and his finances hostage for him to dance to her drum and feed her ego. Because that's what these are. These are narcissists. They want situations where they can leverage the system to hold your life, your finances, and your peace hostage to get you to do what they want you to do. And that's exactly what's happening. And these dudes, they will just ignore that, because a lot of guys that are promoting marriage in this culture, what they don't realize is that they can't speak their mind around their wives. They have to always support what she's doing, no matter how illogical it is. They don't see that you're being held hostage in this system, in this culture, because they've been pacified. And they've been pacified so much, it's normalized.
And a lot of these people also don't get hope is that the men who are talking about marriage right now are not, one, successful at the so-called system themselves. That's the very first thing. The very second thing is they're selling you at an auction to the other women who are actually listening. So it's like they're not here because they're trying to give you a good deal. The woman is getting the best deal. If you're waiting this long to participate, the woman's getting the best deal.
Yep.
You're not. You're getting basic access. She's getting 100% control. So
and it's crazy, man. Like it's almost to the point right now. Like when these guys, they just don't care. It's all about this glorifying sexual access and being a so-called player. They're not realizing that the women are predatory against y'all. The women are the ones who are in the predatory position. Y'all just pray. Y'all just pray who don't know that you're prey. Or reject the fact that you're prey.
Yep. But like I said, man,
because you can alpha your way through it.
Okay. But yeah, man, like I said, man, bachelor taxes and everything else in between, man. It's coming.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Isaac said. Yeah, I'd rather pay the tax. Yeah.
Hey, I'll pay it.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather pay the tax than engage on their terms. I don't care. It don't matter to me. I'm going to be super productive and not worried and off the market with somebody who actually understands it according to their culture. Oh, man, you'll never be able to find, like, oh, okay. I guess I'm a little child. I'm supposed to believe everything that you say. Oh, okay. Let me guess. If I paid attention to your quote unquote program, I'll be able to be better at it, right? Right. Okay. All right, man.
Crazy, man. This is crazy. It's like, and it's so it's so bad. It's a collective. Like, I tell people, like, what community y'all talking about? What black community are y'all talking about? You don't have a community or anything when it's ran by single mothers who glorify being single mothers and having a whole culture. All right, this is not a community. That's a disaster. That's chaos. That's confusion.
No. I mean, they have a community. They made it. They just need somebody else to take over on downs to actually fix everything.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah. Have a ball on that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't stress it enough, man.
If you want to go to a what do you call it, a junkyard and call it a kingdom, go for it.
Yeah. Some people like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy to say.
What you are What you are merely the people who show up at the parade when the championship team has won the championship. Your
Mm.
ass looking at the parade, you didn't win the championship. They won the championship. They're just there so that way you can watch them show the trophy off. It's not
Well,
your trophy.
Right.
well, MOT, you know, niggas' favorite pastime is dick riding everybody else's success.
Oh yeah,
Right,
got their own.
right.
Mhm.
Why
Yeah,
have your own when you can just wait?
Insane,
Yeah.
man.
yeah.
But I'm pretty much at that point, man, that, said enough. Don't know if I said all I could, but I think I've said enough. And I think at the end of the day, man, you know what? I'm just gonna watch you rot.
Yeah,
Well,
because
I'm
at this
glad.
point in time, if they want to be in those situations, they earned it. There is no reread pill.
Yep.
It's either you got the information or you don't, or you let the green pill grifters come out here and take your mind away from you. It has nothing to do with nobody else. This is
Yep.
on
Mhm.
you.
Yep. And that's where I'm at. I mean, not to be funny, but we've done our part.
Mm.
Yeah, we
We've
have.
said it. We've said everything we could. We've shown everybody everything we could, and et cetera and so on. Now it's to pick out the ones who are actually going to do the work. Try to build with them. But outside of that, that's it.
Right.
That's it.
We also did our part in not helping to rebuild it. We also did our part
That's
in that
true.
too.
That's true. That's true.
Definitely.
That's true. That's true.
Because all
So
that's going to do is make them, when you spoil people who like being wrong, you're just going to enable them to be more wrong.
yeah. So as men, like I said, we've done our part. We've said what we had to say. We've shown what we needed to show. Like I said, those who are willing to do the work, we'll try to build with them. But outside of that, our work here is complete. That's my personal opinion. That's my
Yeah,
personal opinion.
I mean,
That's why I don't find myself repeating myself the way I used to. Now I'm just watching.
And you got to
I'm
lock
just
them out. You got to lock them out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what that's why I'm watching. I'm watching because I'm selectively picking who I'm going to do something with and who I'm not. And like I said, there's a lot of good people in here that I really truly like. But I am also not a fool. I know whether I like them or not, a lot of them are not going to make it. I know this.
Black people are like, at a funeral, at a black funeral, when somebody dies, people who never added to your life or built to your life, they're there to collect some money at the end. And it's like that concept is like it personifies the black community, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of how they act at the funeral.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, it is. It's a homegoing time for a party.
I'm telling you, man. It's like you ain't seen these people ain't did nothing in your life. They didn't add to it when you were alive. They didn't help when times was hard to take care of people and nothing. But once it talks about an insurance policy or will or trust, people just jump out the woodwork somewhere saying, I was this and I was that, I was this, and they want to cry and get all emotional. Because the people who've actually been doing the work, they've been in the struggle the whole time. So at the funeral, they have the most peace than the people who just come there and didn't do anything, and they crying out loud because basically it's just pure emotion for them because they didn't invest in anything. They didn't put up anything. They didn't have no skin in the game to get to qualify and add something to that person's life. They didn't do anything. They just want a piece of the
not,
money at the end.
not, now they got to put on the best show and act like they down. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what happens too.
Yeah, and that's why people like us, when it comes to death, we move past death real easy. We don't we don't get broken up at the fact we lost someone. There's a sadness, true, but it doesn't become a display for the whole world. And we know that us being who we are, we've said everything we needed to say. So we haven't lost anything. The person that's gone knows exactly how we felt, where we stood, and all that good stuff. That's why death's never been that big of a deal to me.
And not just that, and MOT, you can relate to this. When I heard you talk about your grandfather and my grandfather the same, is that we honor their memory, keeping up that work ethic and that structure that they've given us. And that's how we keep their memory going. And we live it.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, I get that. Even though it wasn't my grandfather, for me, it was my father. So
Right, right,
it's
right.
the
Same,
only,
same deal.
it's the only way I know, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like at some point it's okay to be lost, but it's not okay to do loser ass shit even though your ass is lost.
right.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Like nah, man. Like yeah, I mean, but like a lot of people, they want to justify what they did after the fact rather than having the introspection to know what the consequences are before they get into the shit in the first place. And they want to be
Hmm.
rescued for trying the wrong thing rather than be rewarded for trying the right thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's why it's so important as men. We have to follow that format that Joseph did. We have to. We have to.
yeah,
We have to put it all out of our minds. We can't hold on to the negative. We can't hold on to, whatever, and just forget about it and do what we got to do, because in the long run it's more beneficial to us.
exactly, man. The most defining moments in my life were born through adversity, the hardships.
Oh, well,
Like
it
when
should be. Yeah.
I was, my little stint of homelessness that I've been through, like all of that has helped to refine me and carve me. And keep in mind, I've always had a work ethic, but unfortunately, life, having money and having credit ain't the same thing in this life. And sometimes you just find yourself in situations when you didn't have, say family. Like I never was spoiled. So everything I did in life, I literally did it myself. And I had the foundation, at some point, like I said, my grandfather had a work ethic, but he was not one, unless, once you got to a certain age, oh, you on your own. And that's cool. That's cool. And I actually respected that. And that's how it should be. But, I just get to a point where my adversity, it showed me who I really am, and allowed me to make the changes I really need to take and I really need to make. Because a lot of people, they got mama and grandma who protect them from actually hitting the ground so they can expose their true character. And so they don't know who they really are. And they become these 60-year-old losers, who don't have anything, who walk around drinking and smoking and everything because they never really had anything to shine light on their changes. The need to, the fact that they need to make serious changes in their life because they always
Hmm.
had somebody to carry them, usually a woman, who allow you to sleep in the basement or allow you to sleep, in a room forever and ever and ever. You never had to grow up.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, because a father being there would kick you out on your ass.
Exactly.
Go make a way. Go make your path in life. You can't stay here.
And usually the ones who,
He might give you a year to figure some stuff out, but that's all you're gonna get.
and
I
you,
mean, that's
and
it.
usually the ones who kick you out, they actually provided you the structure to survive. You just have to do it.
Yep.
They're not just kicking you out. They actually say, this is how you do it. I helped you do it. I showed you the way. If you don't do it, okay, you just got to leave and figure it out yourself. I'm not, because carrying you is not helping you. Sometimes some
Right.
people need to hit the ground themselves. That's the motivation they're just waiting for, the catalyst to get them to the next level.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
And that applies to women too, depending on the circumstance with the father being in the house.
Yeah, I tell you.
Because you can kick the woman out too, so she can go learn. And then there's also the types that if you're doing a certain type of lifestyle or raising of the girl, where she is going to be there until a sufficient gentleman comes along,
And
um,
with
to take her on as a responsibility. But again, that requires vetting of the man sufficiently and
mhm.
training the woman sufficiently.
And with women, after that's been done, it's really up to cultural and societal consequences and punishment, which we lack today.
Oh yeah.
So, and because even if you raise the woman up right, without society having those cultural and societal consequences and punishment as discipline to remind this women the importance of maintaining that structure, because they have to be forced.
Hmm.
Women have to be forced. If women have the opportunity to do the wrong thing, they're usually going to do it to some degree. It may not
And
be,
get away with it. And get away with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and get away with it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because like I
banking on getting
said,
away with it.
yeah, because like I said, I was I saw it, the birth of second wave feminism. Gloria Steinem, Miss Magazine, all that nonsense, the protests in the street. I was there. I saw it live. And I'm telling you, and then I saw the structures breaking down from Jump Street, but by the time I would say 82 maybe 1981, 1982, 83 at the latest. That structure for women keeping each other in check was gone. It was all but gone.
Yeah, that's
Literally.
when you don't need no man, and all of this stuff started jumping out. Because if you think about it, once women realize that, okay, I don't need to have a man in the house, but I can still have children. That should have let men know something right then, that you don't need a man in the house, but you can still have children. The government is your new daddy, and it's like
Exactly.
they don't. That was the real objective reality that men should have said, okay, this is bad, because now women just see they can just basically get our seed, carry our seeds and leverage that against us in the legal system.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's been hell, and it's been hell ever since.
Yeah, and you would have thought that once people of quote unquote higher society, politicians, top businessmen, athletes, celebrities, whatever have you may, once they started to get tagged like that, you figured they would have started making some changes, but nope. They doubled down.
Well, I mean, you got to think. You talking about niggas, Lawrence. I mean, the whole culture is designed around bending over for the woman.
No, I get that. I get that. I'm just saying that when you see people like Bezos get hit
And
hard,
acting like you're running shit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're right. Can't forget that.
Because you scream, because you yell and scream a lot.
Yeah, but when you start seeing, well, you would assume. Let me clarify. You would assume that after you start seeing people like Jeff Bezos start getting hit the way he did, them boys would run in there and start changing it back because they're not trying to lose their money. But it did, like I said, that's not even the case. They just continue to double down every chance they get.
No, they'll just say he had enough to lose. They don't care. It's not the principle of him losing money to a woman. It's just that, oh no, he had enough to lose.
Yeah. I can see that.
Well, I don't even think it goes that far. I think it's just like what we covered whenever we did that Dark Apocalypse. That War Apocalypse. Whenever Superman was like, "Now fuck that shit. We gotta alpha our way through this. This is it right here. We ain't no other option.
Yeah.
This is it."
They sure did.
Yeah.
And the voice of reason in the room was who?
Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey, Damien. Lex Luthor, Constantine, Damien, and the Flash was like, I don't know about this,
Exactly. It was when I saw that animation, I was like, Superman, what is wrong with you, bro? This is not just an evil dude. This is a genius, like on the level of beyond Lex Luthor, but he has the power to back it up. This is not somebody you just run in there and be like, well, I'm invulnerable, but what about everybody else? Bro.
And to make it worse, you're breaking into his house to tell him how to run it.
Man, that was a wake up call that Superman needed. Man, that was the wake up call he needed.
Well, but wait. It gets better, spiritual, because he didn't get the wake up call. Because at the end of it, whenever they said we looking at losing $1 billion at best, he's like, "Oh well, we don't quit. We can just alpha our way through it again."
Do it again. Nigga don't get it.
But when he said that, the way everybody turned around and looked at him, I was like, "It's done."
Hey, look, the look on their face, they looked at him like, "This nigga."
Yep.
And Constantine was like, "Yeah, no, fuck that shit. Hey, Flash, look, you know what you got to do, man. You know what you got to do, dog."
Mm-hmm. Yep. When the smartest man in the room is telling you don't do this, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that's what it looks like. I'm sorry, spiritual.
No, you good. And the worst possible scenario was Batman became turned over. Now, if all the people, because anybody whose intellect is comparable to Lex Luthor, is definitely Batman. And you get Batman in the position of being controlled by Darkseid. Now that's scary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's one of those situations where even Lex Luthor had to be like, I don't know if I can get out of this. Because Batman is he's more like Batman and Lex Luthor both don't have the distraction of females around them, so they're just like full throttle, like calculating and precision and logic on a whole different level.
Right. One is just more smarter in different areas of intellect than the other. But yeah, and then when you talk about Darkseid, his level of intellect, you would equate it pretty much to Brainiac's.
Pretty much.
I mean, for somebody to be able to get over on Brainiac, you can't.
Well, anybody who's trying to unravel the universe has to be smart.
Yeah.
Like when your biggest goal is the anti-life equation, that lets you know the level of your intellect you want.
Right.
Yeah, it does. Especially when you consider it, he wasn't trying to get nothing out of it except for the sake of doing it. So
it was his own pleasure.
Yeah, because he knew because he knew getting it was going to be destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, Superman, he just got a little too full of himself, man. Too many sun rays got to his head.
Yeah, man. Well, you walk around being invincible, man. It has a tendency to do that to you.
Well, when you're that dense, nothing gets into the head either. So,
but we should have saw that with Superman because kryptonite wasn't his only weakness. Kryptonite was the weakness that the woman likely allowed him to put himself in that situation. Every time he got close to kryptonite, he was also close to a woman.
Just saying that makes me think whenever Damien looked at him and said, "You two idiots deserve each other."
Man, people don't give respect to Damien, man. Damien,
that dude.
Damien is off. If that ain't Black Pill, man,
Oh man, that was great.
That's Batman's son, definitely.
Without doubt.
Great.
Without doubt. Because that right there, that's Bruce without a filter for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is, Bruce without a filter. It was great when he said that. Oh, I can see you two idiots deserve each other. Oh, that was great.
Mm-hmm. But let's not take away from Batman because we saw when Batman lets go and he lets go, he's a dangerous person.
Yeah, he did tell him. He said, "I've held back on you before. This time, I ain't holding back," and he beat the fire out of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember that episode. I think it was Justice League or one of those when Batman had a contingency plan for everybody, and it worked. And it worked perfectly.
Oh, you're talking about Tower of Babel.
Movie. I think that was the one where
that was the movie. That was Tower of Babel.
Gosh, I can't think of it. The immortal dude, Vandal Savage.
Justice League Doom. Justice League Doom.
Oh, okay, my bad. It was based off the comic Tower of Babel. Okay. But it was, but in the comic, it wasn't Vandal Savage. It was Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, but
right,
both of those, Vandal Savage wasn't no. Yeah, Vandal Savage is on a whole different level too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Somebody, living 80,000 years, man. You you had an intellect boost the moment that you got that radiation in you that evolves you. He's somebody not to play with.
From back then.
Yeah,
right.
Then. Yeah, right. Caveman time.
That was crazy. He was calculating like even on levels that Batman and Lex couldn't keep up with. So
yeah.
And the centuries to planet.
Centuries? This mother had millennia.
That's true. That's true.
You've been living that long. He done had millennia to make a plan to be able to have that type of mind to plan that out.
Like he was basically saying, Genghis Khan, that was me. All these people throughout history, that was me.
That was me.
I was the right hand man to Hitler. All that shit. Yeah.
They did all that because of me.
So he was not to play with because he hacked into Batman's computer, and used Mirror Master. I think man, people don't give animation its props, man. They just don't.
Right.
It's like that stuff is ingenious, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a lot of and whenever you get into the real meat of the story and how it shows the fallacies with humankind. And the realness of the hubris of a lot of these people, their own undoing, man, it's so real.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, if you guys like the movie, man, you gotta check out the book. You gotta.
I agree.
Yeah, I might check that out.
Yeah, I do need to check it out, especially being you said it was Race that done it too, because Race ain't no slouch either.
Look, Race took it so far that he stole Batman's plans on how to deal with everybody, but he had to figure out how to deal with Batman because there wasn't a contingency for himself. Now I can't remember. Now how did they deal with the Batman in the movie?
Let me think. Batman. I think
Bane buried him.
Yeah.
Say again.
Bane buried him with his parents.
Okay. See what happened in the book is Ra's stole the bodies of his parents and he levitated it above the Lazarus pit and threatened him that if he didn't do what he wanted, he'll throw them back. He'll throw them in the Lazarus pit and bring them back to life.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta read the book, man. You gotta read the book. Ra's was off the hook.
and not only that too. Whenever he used, I think it was it Toy Man. The whole thing with that gun he made that took it ended up it took Superman out of the whole space and time. That fucked up everything right there, anyways.
Yeah, he went to Vandal Savage time.
He went into the future when everybody was gone.
And
Vandal Savage became a good guy.
Well, I mean, there's nobody left to beat up. You got no choice.
He already done fucked up.
He's like, well, I done killed the world, threw everything off of balance. I'm the only person here, so except for me and the cockroaches.
Right.
But yeah, man. But I tell you, man, that book, man, you'll enjoy it when you read it. You'll enjoy it. Yeah. But overall, like I said, as far as it goes for us, man, the story of Joseph, we got to take cues from that, man. We got to take cues from it. We have to.
Yeah.
And not just Joseph, but just right now, that's the most solid one to the forefront. Look, this has happened to you. Don't play the victim card. Make the best of it. Get it together. Find the purpose. Move towards the purpose. Complete the purpose. Done.
Yeah, but with black folks, the biggest issue they have is when we talked about love being one of the misconceptions, they don't realize that true love is correction. And black people hate correction. They hate it.
They do.
They don't want to admit that they have to make changes in their lives, that regardless to what everybody else is doing to you, that doesn't absolve you of having responsibility to make the good choices and make the changes you need, and stop waiting for life to make changes, because that may or may not happen in your lifetime, but the choices you make today will affect you.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, the number one problem with that is, Zero says all the time, black folks are too emotional. Too emotional. Every little thing, get them in their emotions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
The truth. Especially the truth.
And that's weird as hell.
Well, you got to think. I said it before. I like to use a lot of his quotes. I mean, the world, it's never been about truth or lies. It's all about facts. The problem is that black people get emotional over the facts that don't benefit them, like most people.
Yep, and the fact that a lot of these dudes are fake con artists. They're promoting a false life, and they don't want anything to expose what they're doing. And so the truth will shed light on the fact that these dudes are not actually living the life that they claim to be living, and it exposes a lot of their fallacies in their so-called statements and arguments that they're trying to make. And so when somebody steps up, they can, just basically know that what you're saying is not true, and their rebuttal is nothing but ad hominems. And you can see why they're upset, because these dudes, like I said, a lot of these dudes, especially from the the player or the game group and all that, they have to promote this illogical nonsense that only makes sense among people that believe what they believe.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why they expanded the term to mean everything. Now game is everything. Everything is game. That's the funniest thing I ever heard. Everything is game. But I'm like, okay. So there's nothing wrong in society anymore. If everything is game, where did the wrong come from? What are the consequences of all the negative outcomes we see in society? What was that? Reverse game? You got reverse flash? You got reverse game?
Every W, a damn fool.
Said return to the Mac.
No, he said that's the Mac side of the game, Jack. I know who we talk about. This shit is too funny, man. Oh man.
But I don't like I said, like I said, we just got to get ready now because, like I said, there's just no more conversation to be had. I mean, we're here now. We're not to be funny, but like the movie said, we're in the end game now. So you just got to move accordingly.
Right.
Yeah, see, these dudes who are promoting that narrative, they've been living off of the success of everybody else for so long. Now that people have to tighten their belts and basically lock them out of their personal environments, these people are going to be left out there not having anybody to ride the coattails off of, and they're going to go nuts. Because basically the what's left, or what you can call a black community, has been basically survived off of the remnants. I mean, off of the accomplishments of a very small minority. And now that the minority that actually have results are locking themselves out of that group, they have nothing to feed off of. And so this is their desperate war cry, that they're going through right now.
Well, just like on a stream months ago with Zero, the problem is they're afraid. They're just as afraid as the women for practically all the same reasons.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Because they know for a fact that everything they built is a tower of cards. And
waiting for Superman.
And they built it on us. And once we leave, which we have, and there are more coming every day, they know their time's up, and they know they know we know them just the same way we know women now. They've identified themselves on their own, and even if they didn't, most of us have figured it out anyway. But they're afraid because they know they have nothing of value except a swinging dick, and we're men. We don't need dicks. We have our own. So now what?
Yep, and that's why when we expose the women, we're exposing them at the same time. That's why they have to run to the defense, because they're connected. They live off the same victimhood, the same strategy that women have, trying to live off the accomplishments of others. And it's like, we're pulling that carpet up, and they're still waiting for super nigga to come and save them, but they're gonna realize there is no super nigga.
Yeah, because here's the main thing both them and women have to deal with. We're not talking anymore. We're just packing up our toys and going home. And that's it. And they don't know how to deal with that. They're so used to us screaming about wanting to be with women. They're so used to us screaming about this ain't right. Why can't y'all be more nice? Or whatever it is, whatever it is. They're used to that. What none of them are used to is when you have pushed us so far, we won't even associate with you. You want to come in this house and make noise? Okay, I'll just pack up my stuff and go to another house. You want to follow me to that house? Okay, I'll just pack up and move to another house. They don't know how to deal with that. That's the thing about silence being golden. People don't know what to do. They're used to reactions.
Yeah, because I notice now that women are so desperate, they actually go to channels that they don't agree with and just start flagging the channels.
Yeah,
that's the new thing. It's like people don't go seeking things that they want to hear. They go around just to hear things that they don't want to hear and then flag the channels.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. Hey, I think it's more of these niggas doing that shit than these women.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Yeah. But that's the funny thing. That's gonna be and anybody correct me if they think I'm wrong. But right now in my mind, it's not even about broads anymore. It's about them dudes. I'm being real with you.
It's been that way for a while because they still trying to, they're lying to other men, younger guys, about this, sending them down that same rabbit hole to get them, they're pretty much sending them to the slaughter. That's all they're doing. So yeah, it's more about them.
Yeah. They're going to be our problem because see, look, we already know what the deal is with the women. We've already said what we've had to say to a lot of them, both in this space and outside of it. But at the end of the day, the real problem is going to be these brothers. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. These niggers. Wow. Don't know why I said that. But anyway, they're the problem now. They're the problem because, like I said, the women, they know we can ignore them. They know we can walk away. They're just here to try to get some attention for a little bit of time, and it's up to us whether or not we give it to them or don't. It's really going to be about these. It's going to be about these niggas because at the end of the day, they're going to come at us in a way, pure fear, terror, and there's nothing worse than a nigga who's terrified. Because they already do dumb shit. Now imagine them terrified. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and like I said, they know that they don't have what it takes to do what we do. They don't have what it takes to become what we become. And that could be anything from stoicism to economic capability or just being a good brother. They have none of that in them. It makes no difference, what angle you want to come at. So to me, that's where I think our next focus is going to have to be, not in the sense of going after them, but just ensuring that they just not here, just don't even come into space, man. Because my thing is, like I said about my little brother, they're just bitches with dicks. So if I don't interact with bitches, why would I interact with you?
Right. Exactly. Well, oh man, we're 2.5 hour mark. I meant to stop about an hour ago, but man,
I'm sorry.
So oh no, y'all good. It's been going so good. I want to get over there at Soul Providers and check him out, support him out over there.
Sounds good, man.
And I put the link in the chat for anybody to go over there. You can check him out. And he's got a stream going right now. But, yeah,
I'm sorry. I saw something with Jerome. Some dude talking about save the colored women.
Yeah. Hey, Jerome got me using it now.
That's crazy.
Now when I refer to these people as usually as colored women or just color folks in general. I've heard all these crazy just color folks. So he's got me doing it now. But yeah, Jerome is crazy, but he's all right. But y'all got any last words before we get out of here? MOT?
No, that's it for me, man. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. Spiritual.
Same thing, man. We said it all, man. It was a great stream. Glad I caught it, man. I'm gonna try to catch the next ones.
Sure. Appreciate it. Lawrence.
Same thing. We said everything we could. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, no problem. Oh, and MOT, I got what you sent. Man, that shit got me dying laughing. Damn.
I sent it to you too, Lawrence.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sent what,
Check
email?
Check
Okay.
email.
Right.
Yeah, she is somebody who called in the Shira 7 show. Yeah, just look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, all right, fellas.
He's charging for consultation. Everybody on this consultation hustle, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's all I got, fellas. I'm glad. Thank y'all for coming out. Thanks to the couple of new subscribers I got. Hope y'all enjoy the content. And hey, peace and blessings to y'all.
Hey, real quick, New asked, can I post my channel? Is he joking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, go ahead and post it.
You know you can, no? Go ahead.
I gotta bring him on for a one-on-one too. So.
Okay, yeah.
I got a whole bunch of one-on-ones lined up. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, 3 of them right out the gate are on this panel. Yo, I'm serious. I emailed you like a week or 2 ago, Spiritual. So
yeah, can y'all send that to me? What y'all talking about with the Shira 7
okay.
thing?
Yeah, I can forward it to you.
All right, cool. I want a good laugh too.
But yeah, anyone that hasn't subscribed, New post his channel, the link to his channel in the chat, so y'all subscribe there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ice, I'm not set up yet, man. I'm still building it. So
yeah. Jerome Whiteside, look, I gotta edit on that one.
Oh, what speakers? No, he did not.
Yeah, I'm done. Peace, y'all.
All right. Shalom.